I would harass, annoy, chase the Katina Man daily on the show when I was a viewer. Katina Man, it's been 15 minutes and I haven't gotten a money spin. What's going on?
What's going on?
So, yeah, I'm just joking about that. Joseph?
Yeah.
You see what time it is?
I do see what time it is.
How much extra do we got in the bank?
You know what? I'm gonna let them off this one.
Oh,
you know
wow.
why? You know why?
Feeling good today, huh?
Because no, yeah, that and I'm like, imagine I got to do this all day, every day.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you do.
Money, money, money,
Spin it.
money,
Money.
Great show, too.
Yes, sir.
Shortened week, obviously, guys. Joseph and I will be on Thursday, but we're going to be on for 1 hour from 11 to 12. And then, yeah, obviously, you guys know the market closes at 1.
Why are you looking? Hold on. Why are you looking at
bro?
us like that, though? Pardon?
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Oh, hey.
Saw that, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
watch out.
I thought she was
Watch
married,
out.
bro.
Yeah, hey.
Katina Man.
Oh, remember that one time she said, remember she said you can still score with a goalie? Remember that? Do you remember that quote from Ramin? I remember that. I remember that quote from Ramin, which is crazy. But my guy's looking fresh over there. Let's pull up the new look. My guy, the styled one, Sean Katina, man.
You're going to see him in a second.
Yeah.
Peace.
What did I do? What did I do?
I don't know.
All these glasses? I'm just like Joe over there, you know? You don't need no glasses, but you
Wait,
wear
who
them
is this
anyway.
guy beside me? I don't even, like,
This guy?
what'd you do with Sean? Where's Sean?
I changed my name in the chat.
Oh, boy.
Hi, I'm just gonna put in the word hi. Look what it says there, it goes hi.
Let's go.
It has the word let's go at the end of it all.
Nice. I like that.
Did you have something special for me? Thank you, appreciate that, Joe.
All right, okay. All right. He said he had something
this guy
special,
doesn't stop.
but
It's like,
I don't know.
This guy. What team is this again?
Well, there's a Buffalo on there. Yeah.
Buffalo something.
Buffalo Bills.
Correct! Hey, there it is.
Oh my God.
I can remember things.
All right. No,
How you
Neil's not
doing?
here.
I got it.
Holy fuck.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
My guy, Shikanti and Nairobi. You're not Nairobi, you're Obi.
No,
but
you're
I know
Obi.
Shikanti. I know you
No,
remember.
Yeah, no.
Now
No,
Obi.
But he knows what I'm talking about. That's his new name. What I'm going to be calling him is Shikanti.
Can't
That is the name.
Yeah. We heard about this.
So get away the T from Katina.
well-
Can T.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
Okay.
originally was your old ID there, right? So Shikanti is...
No. It's Shikady.
Katie, that's what it was. I was like, yeah,
There it
Shikady,
is.
come
Way to
on.
butcher that one, Joe.
All right, see you in Miami, Joe.
All right. See you, man. Thank
Oh,
you.
man. What is going on over
have
here?
no idea.
Okay. Yeah, welcome back,
make
everybody.
trades.
I don't know. I just threw these glasses on. I mean, it's not making me see any better or anything like that. All right, not the best trading day. Yeah, it's not. What's up, Grand Opera? I think it's been okay. I mean, the problem is here, as you look at the futures, it's kind of, I mean, not much movement. Like, if you're going to talk about a choppy flow, I mean, that's pretty much what it is right there. There's not much going on. Like, if this was your flow, you're not getting any record deals, you know what I mean? So I would just say this is right here, pretty choppy. And so I would say we're gonna wait. I mean, we have an absolute, here you go, Sharif. But we got a trade on, boy, right now. This Google trade is, you know, working out, needless to say, as we came back here right on the midday show, right? I wasn't, you know, too into some of the smaller caps. We looked at BBAI, but when Google made this move down and then came back to VWAP, I was like, you know, let's try that. We should have reloaded it right there. We did not. We got out on the way back in, and then another test one more time. The funny thing about all of this, I'm waiting at 177.95. That went, I don't know why I don't know how we didn't get filled here. That went to 95 and just didn't get it. I'm on the Nasdaq gateway. That would have been a monstrous and turned the day around. It's already been a nice day here. We did lose Amazon. Like, what the heck is wrong with Amazon today? Down 1.5%. That name keeps on heading to the downside. We got out of the TQs there, but this was a great trade. We got out of the highs of the day. And then just now, when we had that little up and down, you had Joe and Sharif commenting there. There was the Japan news. There was Fed speak there. We sort of went, whoa, and I was like, you know what? I had literally 5% left, and I was like, I'm just going to get out of this and refocus. And then the other trade that we have on here is SoFi, and you know, we had reloaded that at VWAP right there, got more out there again, but we are trying to break a little lower. I'm going to use SoFi here as the bottom of the day, 1834 as a break. So that's already in there. So yeah, so it's been good, man. Just been sort of going back and forth with everything, making a little bit of money here. The only loss that we have on today is that Amazon one, and that sucks. So we're battling back, though. We're battling back. Got a puncher's chance here at the end of the day. Let's just see if there's any news that's going to pop through. We don't have a huge earnings day or anything like that. There's whole week. There's relatively nothing. There's, what is it, non-farm payrolls or something on Thursday, so there's that too. So, but yeah, that's all I've been doing, chilling out, talking to the wife, went for a swim, went for a walk, got our little iced coffee, $1. And that's what we're doing. I do want to talk about some crypto, though, after. We want to look at some Ripple, some XRP, some Solana, Bitcoin, so on and so forth, as Bitcoin hovers around 107.5.
Yeah. You know, I recently found out that a decent chunk of my XRP position is not actually XRP. It's sitting in ETH.
Ouch.
Because yeah, that wasn't the best find. I kind of forgot about it like 6 years ago, and I changed brokers, changed accounts. And during that changing, it was like, okay, well, to get money out of this, you can only pull out ETH.
I remember, yeah.
So I forget who what was it was a Canadian one, Bittrex.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in Bittrex.
I was actually had an account there too at one point.
Yeah, Bittrex was solid for a lot of them, and to transfer over, I had to switch everything to ETH and then move that over, and then I guess I never changed it back. So I'm like, instead of sitting on a 600% winner of XRP, sitting on 100 and something% winner on ETH, which is
wow. What a bad trade.
Not the best, but no, it is what it is. What I am liking
that's
right
part
now,
of the
though.
cleaning up, right? I mean, I was doing that on my account too the other day, and that's where I realized I had some QuantumScape and all this kind of stuff, and it's just like cleaning up some of these little, I don't want to say crappy positions, but like smaller positions that where maybe you've exited some and you said, I'm going to hold on to 10% and see where this goes. You know, sometimes those 10%, although they could rip up and be absolutely huge, it just clouds sort of the portfolio a little bit. So I like the cleanup idea, you know, the spring cleanup action in the middle of the summer. So. Okay, streets are locked and loaded. You guys voted throughout the midday to see what you wanted Obi to talk about. So let's go find out what those are with the rundown. Boom.
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Obi in for Neil, but the boys are locked and they're loaded and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers on the screen is to join Joseph and I on the midday show and get into that chat and vote for your favorite ticker every day. Super simple now, guys. You're throwing that $ before your 3, 4, or 5-letter ticker. Automatically registers, nothing you need to do. Let's look at the 4 major averages to start here. They're all in positive territory, between 1/5 to 1/3% in the green right now, with the NQ leading the way up 1/3. The Russell 2000 up 0.15, likewise with the ES up 0.14, and the Dow second best here, up 1/4% on the day. Looking at possibly moving down now though. BMNR, the #1 ticker as decided by you guys. This thing was all sorts of crazy and is still, you know, not really breaking down too much. Up almost 500% on this news headline announcing a $250 million private placement to initiate Ethereum treasury strategy, guys. Expected to become one of the largest publicly traded companies to hold ETH. So perfect segue there for Obi's story.
Yeah. So again, now Bitmine Immersion Technologies. Yeah. Again, I've seen a few traders post about this trade in the morning, and I've been watching it pretty closely. Pretty interesting stuff here. A bit of a stair step up as well. Again, it seems like this is day one. Yeah, it IPO'd very recently as well. It would seem. So when is that? That is June 5th. So just not too long ago there. But yeah, finally catching some volume, maybe some traction as well. Don't know what the float on this thing is, so let's take a quick look. And again, I don't know about the accuracy about this one, but 1.93 million shares in the float, 26 million float right there. But you can, market cap. You can see that we've done over 86 million shares traded on the day. The float is 2 million, Sean. So a little bit of a rotation, a little bit of a churning of that float happening here for sure. And yeah, stair stepping up, I think is definitely something to watch out for. It is a day one runner, so yeah, I think the shorts are definitely a little sweaty on this one here, but the breakouts and the continuations have been pretty nice as it continues to stair step up. I got eyes on it, but I don't have any sort of trades or any sort of biases on it or, with any sort of direction.
All right, I don't know anything about BMNR, but I do know something about Big Bear AI. So let's go hear what Sharif has to say, and we'll come back and talk about Big Bear.
To talk about Big Bear, Sean, it's just running from the same catalyst it was from a couple of weeks ago, which is basically they're launching this AI service at the airports. I think they're launching it at O'Hare and several others, but doesn't matter, above $7 to the tune of 20%.
LAX, and those are the two major airports. They have a deal also with Easy Lease that happened in June, and they're just getting the run now, right, for Big Bear AI. So I mean, let's just, you know, call a spade a spade. It's running up there. There is a big short float in this name, 29%, and the rip is here. And you know, it started basically once we broke this 450 area, and now you're at $7, and you topped out to 724. I did get out some today at 685. We talked about that live here on the air, and now we just wait. I was thinking that $8. I mean, this was a call that we had made many months ago, or many weeks ago, when we were down here to $3, and I was like $8. I'll see you when that happens. I didn't think that we would have to make a decision this soon, but right there, Big Bear AI making the move up again here today. Now the problem is that you have that 720 top. That might be the top of the day. We've seen, and I don't necessarily know if that's going to be the top of the day or not. But here, I mean, here's a top from Friday, and again, it wasn't here on Friday, but that top was the top, and then we faded out into the close, right? Here you go again on, let's call it Thursday, boom, right? Faded out into the close. I mean, now we're still up. You know, the trajectory here into the close was down. You know, you can see that the downside play is there. We never really had sort of huge end of day rallies in Big Bear AI. So I don't expect one here today, but it's already starting right now that this is coming back down. So I would say this is probably a short. 720, 725, but congratulations for everybody that's, you know, been sort of stacking up right there. And yeah, we got a great super chat earlier for the call out, and I appreciate that. I want to, thank you guys for that. But at the end of the day, everyone's got to trade their book. We did that. We loaded up with Big Bear AI. I'm long at $4, and it's been a really good ride. And thank you everybody for kind of listening to that. And I was calling it, this was back in January, February. I was like, this is baby Palantir, but we need to get a little bit more action for this to be baby Palantir. But Palantir direct listed at $9.20, and it's $140. So, what's in for this AI data intelligence play? I don't know, but what's been up so far has been so good. So let's just wait to see if the momentum can stay there. Kind of just like what the advice that Obi gave to Joe about maybe holding on and waiting to see when the trend has been broken. Nothing wrong if you're doing that on Big Bear AI, but the problem is it has huge moves. So it's not like a Robinhood that's kind of inching up 3 or 4% every day, pulling back, then inching back up. This can drop in a heartbeat, right back to some of these levels. So yeah, part of this is a squeeze. Let's not call ourselves stock picking gurus or anything like that. It's just, we looked at the environment that we're in. We're in an AI booming environment, obviously, right? You have NVIDIA at all-time highs. You see what Palantir's at all-time highs. Then we get an AI intelligence play like Big Bear, and you get the push through. So I don't think it's anything. It's something to celebrate for sure, but I don't think it was like a rocket science call. We did also have the big short float. So we're happy to be in it. We'll hopefully find some more plays similar to this. But yeah, Big Bear AI, great trade, and would have never thought this, and we wouldn't have sold at 685 if I thought it was going to 730. But I think you got to take something out on the way up. for me. So that's advice that I would give to everybody. If you can always, and I just give it again to Joe, the trend is fine, but once the trend breaks, you really want to give up that 3, 4, 8% or whatever it is to get back to the downside. I'd say if you have something in it, you should take something off. It's like, I don't think Joe would hold 10 contracts or something if they tripled in money. I think you get out of 2 or 1 and then you hold the rest, but that's just, again, this is not, or even more, as Joe said. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of judging your own trading style, your books, and everything like that. So if you're in Big Bear AI, then the bear right now has, no, I will not do that again, Fabian. You know,
he needs it for the content.
Yeah.
No, I think you pointed out some key features that have made up this move here: the short float, the market sentiment, and the whole sentiment around the sector when it comes to speculative AI stocks as well. I think all of that together definitely gave us all the recipe for a potential move like this, and also, yeah, the fact that it's capable of doing moves like this, and it has done them in the past, and that would make it well within range. And yeah, I think definitely the reason to sell and reason to kind of take profits, that's very discretionary. That's up to you as well, and you can have rule sets in and around that. But yeah, until that momentum and that hype is really not there anymore, and the chart is showing you, I think it's definitely something to kind of stick around for. Again, it seems like we are still getting expanding volume coming into some of this action to the upside here. And I think Sean said it very, very right there. It is definitely squeezing with the kind of short float that it has and with the way that it's built up here with a bit of a wind up. And another thing I kind of want to point out as well is, yeah, sure, there isn't really a volume event near these lows, but say we were like, okay, I want to know where every average long is sitting at from the lows that we made. Guess what? That comes out to be 429. So it's like, all right, well, we kind of held that base, consolidated, and now we're accelerating off of that average kind of area. But another thing to remember here is the float, right? 280 million float. And guess what? We've traded about 280 million shares on the day today. So
I know we're going to go back to the street, but I just want to, first of all, I want to tell everybody, you got to get into the chat, because this is where, like, you got to hit subscribe. The only way to get into here is hit subscribe. Then you can start posting in the chat. It's completely for free. Just go in, hit subscribe to the show, be part of this, right? And then the other thing is here is, like, he's asking me, I guess Dave here. What's up, Dave? Are you suggesting trimming, some positions similar to those, I guess, Big Bear and Hood, for long-term to push into underdog stocks? If you have a stock that's an underdog that you think, like an Apple or something like that, or maybe a Google that's a little depressed or whatever at some of these levels, then fine. It's more just like when I look at a stock and, you look at the average return of the Nasdaq or the S&P, let's go with the S&P 500 of like 13% or something over the last 47 years, and then you get a move that's happened like this. And I'm just talking about traders that have been buying, for swing into something like this. Like, it's now giving you more than you thought you could have got out of the stock, I would think, right? I mean, if I told you $93, like this was $63 May 29th. So a month ago, you're now in the money 50% in 1 month. So you just basically, Dave and everybody else, you just tell me if you think that if you had to buy here and you have out for 10% right up here, if that would be something that you would eventually regret. I don't think so. It could easily just pull back in. And if it does, great, if you're trying to buy some more. But why not trim a little bit, especially with the market at all-time highs, and just get into, you don't have to get into anything, man. You could put your money in a 5% T-bill or something like that, and do nothing with it. So I'm not saying that you reallocate. It's just at some point. I also, by the way, during lunchtime, and I just don't preach, I try to show you hopefully some winning trades, make them, tell you when I'm hitting goals and things like that. I trimmed JP Morgan at lunch a little bit more. I got some out at 280. I got some out again here at 290. Like, we're long from here, man. We're long from 230 right here at the 200 period moving average. So you break all-time highs. There's my first out, Obi, right here. Like, that's what we were looking for. And then today we get another bump up on what was decent news, again, on a catalyst. We don't have the banks coming. Well, we have some banks, but not this big bank, where they got news that they could start share buyback. So they passed their stress test, so they get a little bit of a bump today. So I'm going to take advantage of that and get out when it's up triple what the market's up today. So Just a little bit of advice there, but I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, over to the big screen. Yes, exactly. There's Susie Fox here. I can't stop looking at the chat, by the way. I'm addicted to the show and everything. But Susie Fox, it's easy if you win. Yeah, 100%. I don't even know what you're referencing. But when you have trades that are working, Obi, you and I talk about this. Yeah. Oh, I'm in the money $1. Time to get some out. You know, it's like, but when you're losing and you're down $1, you're like, maybe I should be averaging it. Like, there's different decisions that are made when you're winning v losing. Let's just hope to win more than we lose. All right, Sharif, sorry about that, but let's go back over and figure out what Sharif's got on deck for us next.
You're good, Sean. This is a look at AT&T, guys. Quickly here, that spike down is a real spike. Donald Trump attacking AT&T on Truth Social. Basically says, I'm doing a major conference call with faith leaders from all over the country, and AT&T is totally unable to make their equipment work properly. This is the second time it happened, and when he did that, it resulted to the downside, but as you can see, being bought back up now, AT&T. Next on the list here is SoFi, making 52-week highs, boys, running with Hood. And the other fintech stocks that have been strong lately, up 6.84 today. Nothing new on this one, just 52-week highs.
Yeah, so guys, got some news for you. VinFast, big EV news out of Jakarta. VinFast, VFS is the ticker. Just locked in a major financing deal with Bank Central. Sorry.
You take your time.
I lost that. Okay, so with Bank Central Asia, one of Indonesia's top private banks, the partnership opens up flexible credit options for VinFast's dealer network, covering everything from EV purchases to spare parts. That means smoother inventory, better cash flow, and a stronger push to scale up across the country. It's a smart move to speed up Indonesia's shift to green mobility and a key step in VinFast's expansion game plan. Check them out.
All right, good job there. Yeah, all right, so you call up the charts. I already have this up right here for SoFi. So, look, this was brought to my attention by, again, the chat. This is why I'm saying, like, get into the chat. Let us know. Like, I'm always, all the hosts are always looking there and trying to find it. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, get part of the chat. So, yeah, and I want to thank you guys for that. Like, when SoFi was starting to break, right into here, and it was like 1850. You guys know that I love the 50 levels, like the 25s, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna see like this Google short is 178. You know, it's like even dollar levels. We missed the 18 blast off, and first of all, I do want to. Russell's working in the back like crazy. We want to thank him for doing everything. So if you do hear something in the background noise, it's not. You're not going crazy like we are. This is the noise from the renovation. But there's 18 breaking, nice move up to $19. Now you're starting to fade back in. The minute that level was broke right there on the 1 minute chart, we got out. So that's 1840, so we wound up getting out of that trade. But look at this momentum play in SoFi, right? If you had identified that earlier, that was great, and I wish I would have looked, because there's 1830. I think that's the great punch, but that's still actually, it's still like 1850. Punching at 18 might have been a little bit of a risk, because you would have said, uh-oh, we've already been up here before, and then got hit. But today it continues to work, as many of those bank stocks, as we'd already talked about, working today. So let's just look to see what I did on this trade. So again, thanks to the chat. You guys brought that up to my attention. I just waited very, very patiently. The minute that it broke 1850, man, we just put our market order in. We got whap out. Nice move to the upside right there. Whoosh. It got all the way into the 70s. So we were already out of half of the position. And it's kind of funny that we were out of half, because then bang, we came back in and we reloaded it again just at that dipping spot right into there where we sort of thought there could have been support back there at 1840. It was. And I believe at that time it might have been the 50-period moving average or something around there. And then whoop, and then basically boom goes a dynamite right there to the upside. Take advantage, take advantage, take advantage. Try to get cute with VWAP again. Take it a little bit out. Take some more out to 50-period moving average. Then once we broke VWAP there, we could have got out, but we didn't. And that might have been a mistake, which it was a mistake. But traders got a trade. We only had 5% left. So by the time it came back down, we wound up getting out right there at that level, just in front of that right now. So now we're out of it, and we can breathe a sigh of relief. SoFi, my #1 P&L name today, and was not on this annoying thing that some guy keeps calling the sticky note. So we did not have it on there today, but we do have this one on right now, and we have this one on today as well, and it's Google right now. So we'll say what's up to our good friend Max, because here comes Google right back in right now. Max, pick Pick me up, my guy, right now. But there's Google right now, a nice move in. We're now $1.20 in the money on this short that we posted during the midday show. So Google to the downside. All right, Obi, kill him with kindness with SoFi. If you don't have anything, let's go to Palantir.
Yeah, no, I think SoFi, it was one to watch this morning. Given the gap up and given the relative volume that it was doing,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anybody could have suspected such an aggressive and strong move right off of the open. Beautiful continuation, so gap, a little bit of a hold on the level, and then just a push all the way through 1760s to 18s. But yeah, catching a little bit of a slowdown right now. I think some of the best opportunity, if you were already watching it in the morning, you can right off of the open, we're already doing 2 times the relative volume. And then as that opening range breaks, you can see that expansion of relative volume almost all the way up to 3 times as we approach those highs. And then since then, interestingly enough, relative volume relatively sustained, but intraday volume itself obviously has dropped off pretty decently. So one to watch out for sure. Didn't really have any trades on it, but shout out to Sean for having some.
All right, that QR code right there, man, it is OGen. We want to thank them for sponsoring this part of the show. Each year, over 3.8 million concussions are reported. That's just reported, guys. Like there's probably 10 million concussions reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. The NYSE-listed Oragenics, symbol OGen, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access, with the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027. Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting with OGen today. OGen right there, OGEN on the NYSE, and we've had them on a couple times to explain, their product. So go check us out on some of those past notes. But all right, thank you so much for OGen. Let's go over to Sharif and talk about some random stock. I don't know. What is it there? PLTR. Palantir.
Good catalyst today with Palantir and Accenture. They announced a partnership to collaborate on incorporating AI into federal agency workflows. It was an aggressive sell on Friday into the close, but up a nice 5 1/3 today, boys.
Like that.
Thank you.
Switch up?
Yeah, no, Prad got me this hat, actually. Yeah, so shout out to Prad, a former host here on the show. Hope Prad is doing well. But yeah, he hooked up this hat, and we've been talking. Palantir was like my big bear AI of like 2021, 2022, where we were just talking all about Palantir over and over again. The only other stock that I really pounded the table on was Meta, and we did that back down near $100, $120. And then obviously Palantir as well. We really, enjoyed trading this name, and another 5% today. We actually were able to buy the dip here as I was watching such a great show on Friday by Obi and Neil into the close. And when this move happened, there, right here, at the end of the day on Friday on complete and utter nonsense, which is just a Russell rebalance. And it happens quarterly. And of course, because it was June, it was the big semi-annual rebalance. And I saw Obi basically in a state of panic, as was Neil, as they were just sitting here watching this thing fall down. And I had 2 questions. A, why were they not short? And B, why was I not getting long? So when this came down here, I got long in my own personal account. I actually just, when it was down at 131 and it was down 9%, I said to myself, and I'm just joking about why Obi and Neil weren't short. I was just watching this happen live. And I actually said to Obi too, I don't know if I would have punched short, man, because these moves, although it looks easy on a chart, when you're watching it, it's a completely different game. I mean, I sat here and watched Tesla do moves like this and sit here kind of like a deer in headlights. It's hard because you don't know. If you're trading smaller shares, and we talked about this, if you're trading 5 shares or 10 shares or 20 shares, then yeah, man, you can avoid a $5 hit if you're wrong and but if you want to try to make some real money, where do you get involved with this? But we put some shares into our swing account down here at 31s. We even posted it on the chat as well. So it's a nice move back up as they had some more deals there today. I think that you and I had talked about this on the show as well, that this 138.50 level was going to be something, and it was part of the pre-market, but then it kind of took it out and went up to 139. So again, if you're going to be shorting even dollars, then that's a bang up spot right there to do it, because it also leveled off. Like this is, and take a line from Neil here, because he always says everyone trades their own style. Like this is my style. Like when you're barcoding like that and the market gives you a trade, like that's like, you could put on a few thousand honestly, a few thousand shares there, which is why you see me sometimes panic when I'm getting out, because all of a sudden I'm in the money 10, 15 cents. It's like, okay, your stop is only 10 or 15 cents. So it's like, that's where payday starts to happen, because then when you're right, it bleeds out. And even like right now, like this is actually a good long area here, 137. So like if this market can hold out, why not take a shot here on Palantir at 137? And then let's just zoom in and see what the you know, I was gonna say, what the hell? Again, that song, I don't even know who sings that, but I hear it all the time on the radio, man, on my way home. The thing is, now that I have the Tesla and everything, it doesn't matter, this is part of all cars, but I just use TuneIn Radio because it's just an app.
Okay.
So I get like all these stations now from like Detroit, and I listen to hip hop. So it's like all this music, like here in Toronto, we have like Kiss 92.5 or something.
Yeah.
Like the most hip hop you might hear is Luther or something on that, right? So you don't, 98.7 used, no, it used to be Flow 93.5. 104.5, what is that, light rock? I mean, is everything all right over there?
103.5, I think.
Oh, 103.5, yeah, that's, but that's all, it's all pop
Yeah,
stuff.
it's all, exactly. It's nothing.
Come on, man. I just listen to straight business news. You know, I remember when I was with my, or anyways, Palantir, storytelling time. Who cares about Palantir? I remember when I was with my father and everything like that and rolling around. You know, my dad used to drive a Trans Am. I don't even know if you know what that is. Yeah, you do, Pontiac Trans Am. Anyways, you know, when
Firebird.
Yeah, exactly. It was some of the cars that he had in his day. Anyways, I let my dad, how many tangents am I gonna get on here? He started driving the Tesla. We got right on the highway, and this thing was going 130 in 5 seconds. Like he was like, bang, gunned it right there like crazy. I'm like, Dad, like slow down, my guy over here. No, but the story I was gonna get is, I remember growing up and I was always like, man, my dad's just listening to like news talk radio in his car and everything like that. And now I find myself, honestly, it's like I get into the car, I'll put on 680 News and just listen to it for 5 or 10 minutes because like I get pissed off that there's nothing on the radio. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting way too old now, man. Like now I'm starting to listen. I've always listened to sports talk radio though. I remember going to sleep as a kid and just putting on like whatever sports talk radio show there was, and here was the Fan 590 and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. It's just like listening. It's like a podcast, listening to the news every day.
I think
but the thing is I don't like listening to the news in the car with my kids, even though they're 13 and 10, like they're old enough. Like my son the other day, and he's 13, and I told him, he's like, so what's going on with like Iran and Israel? And I was like, you know, I told him that they have some beef and this and that, and it does go way back, and there's nuclear issues and all this kind of stuff. So try to explain everything to him, but I don't think sheltering kids from news is necessarily right, but certain things need better that they not know, because some of the questions, you know, I don't have all the answers. So
yeah, no, I definitely I definitely shelter myself from
position board is broken
from mainstream media because of all the biases that are fed. But other than that, yeah, no, in the car I'm just probably on YouTube. That's my main thing, just music and podcasts on YouTube. That's pretty much.
And the thing is too, is like they were listening to Sunday night oldies and Saturday night oldies and stuff like that. Like back, you know, like some nice Motown music and stuff like that. So I have appreciation for all that. But like, you know, now like if I put in Biggie Smalls or something, like that is now 40 years old. So that's like when we're growing up, like our parents listening to music in the 50s, we're like, wow, man, you guys are like mad old.
Yeah.
But like now I'm listening to like albums that were released in the 90s, and they're like, Dad, like, come. But I think it's aged better. I think it's aged better.
It's definitely.
You know, I don't know, maybe it hasn't.
But,
all right, well, we're idiots. All right,
Palantir.
So Palantir is still on.
Yeah, Palantir again. That was a crazy move, and I was expecting something just as crazy coming in off of the open today, but nothing really here. Just straight sideways chop and barcoding for majority of the day. VWAP orbit. So nothing to see here saying Palantir, but maybe something potentially coming in. Again, got that aggressive move, and today we just consolidate. I think that's okay. But tomorrow, I think if we close it within this consolidation range, tomorrow we have a nice defined range to potentially give us a little bit of direction. So that's the look on Palantir.
All right, guys, I can't see the screen. All right, so Robinhood, the last on the list over here, launching stock tokens, reveals a 2-layer blockchain and expands crypto suite in the United States and Europe. Good look here for a Robinhood, almost at the day's highs, up 11.5%.
I just got to say a big shout out to Levy Corbett in the chat. Love you also at Levy. He says, I talk about too much random stuff. So shout out to you. It's my party and they'll cry if they want to. Shout out to Levy over there. All right, since I talk way too much, Obi.
Yes, sir.
What do you have to say about Robinhood?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think the stuff that they've been doing is pretty interesting, and it seems like the price action is starting to catch up to some of their ventures that they're trying to push. And I think again, something to watch out for with the most recent. It was a tokenization of stocks potentially there. I think we were talking about it earlier. They had an event that started off at 11 o'clock. They were actually talking about some of the I guess European citizens maybe being able to trade U.S. equities and also get dividends in on a tokenized exchange there. So that's definitely very interesting here on Robinhood. And again, if you take a look at this on the weekly, like we did earlier, this thing is just nearing that. I mean, it's not nearing anymore. It's already breaking out, but you can see that expanding volume into the push, and we're getting that little bit of continuation. So I don't know if it's nearing the slowdown, but you can see here on the weekly, just back-to-back jacks with those green candles over and over again, holding those prior candles pretty well here, all the way from 30. We never really saw any serious selling since about April. Again, coming in with a lot of stocks catching a strong bid to their all-time highs from those April lows there, and Robinhood seeing more of the same. But yeah, some solid strength there and reinforced with some volume on a continuation for a ticker that's already been.
Yeah, the Robinhood story is a good one for sure, man. I mean, it's been, I know my guy Joe over there switched out of Tesla into Robinhood. That's probably obviously a great idea. And yeah, it's just been up and away, man, for Robinhood. So yeah, I mean, a little bit, I'd be a little bit nervous. Again, like not nervous. I mean, if you're long, you're not nervous, but just that whole talk of, do we take profits, and if we do, when do we do it? I mean, I think you're close. I would have already taken profits on this trade. So for me, I'm a little more conservative. I've got way too many bills to pay every month to let this one slip away. So I just think that, again, to each their own, right? If your only kid is a dog, then I think you can hold on to this. Shout out to Miami Joe. And I think that's completely, everybody has to judge their own kind of financial situation. So I'm only saying that because we do get talk about, when to trim certain positions. And I just think today, Robinhood right there, like we had posted up on our chat, on our watch list, and thanks to Adara for this, we did have the crypto event today, right? And so you could see what sort of started happening when that took place there at around 11 o'clock. And it's just been upside since then. And so we did have that question of the morning that was like, what are you trading based off, technicals or news-related, event-related things, or intuition, gut trading, revenge trading things. I think revenge trading should have been on there too. I think definitely in the prop world, revenge trading may win. But no, so I was just going to say, like, Robinhood, even on a 5-minute chart, I mean, it's just really take off. I mean, the minute that this day happened, what day was this? I guess this was just Friday or today, actually. Right there, you skimmed this level here of $85 there on Friday and fell off of it. The minute we were sort of opening up above it today, you could have almost zoomed back and had said, you know what, if we break this 85.50 or so, then I'm just going to go long. And that's the kind of stuff that I look for, and that would have been a banger of a trade. So again, congratulations to anybody that has Robinhood. What a great trade there. I'm going to shift it over to one more thing here because, again, we're long Webull at $11, and we were talking about Webull down here at $11 for at least 2 weeks when we got in. We've been bouncing up here before. We've already made this move to $11.80, and we thought we were pretty cool. And then Ned came right back in and gave us $10 again. And then now it's back up to $11. This name has, again, some kind of Robinhood-esque movement to it. Like up another 9% today on very, very limited news. So I would say that this is another one of those plays where if you're up almost 10% if you bought under $11, getting a little top heavy here, Webull. But there's a lot to go, man. We don't know anything about this company. Let's wait for maybe a couple more reports before we get out. I was thinking $8 or $9 would be another reload spot, but we're already in a healthy margin, a healthy bit here at 11. So let's just see what winds up happening with Webull going back there to the upside. Fintech plays are hot until they're not. That's the one thing, like XYZ, which is Square Block, PayPal. You know, when they have news behind them and they sort of get that push, institution money goes into it, it's a completely go crazy type of thing because everybody can wrap their head around why Robinhood's going up, why Webull, PayPal, why all those things are working. But there's a hell of a lot of competition in this space. You know, like, I don't know about you, but like democratization of trading, most apps now have either free trading or some kind of benefit package there for trading, hit certain levels, get certain things. So yeah, I just, you know, Robinhood's a great story. They're acquiring more and more accounts, but I just think that a 50% move in Robinhood in a month is a lot. And might be time to take some out. And if you still like the spot, hold on to 90%, put that 10%, buy yourself something nice, and wear it the next day. And therefore, you have something to wear.
I think that's solid advice there, Sean. Yeah, no, I really like the story on Robinhood and how it's built up here. But as of right now, I kind of like this market coming into the downside. Oh boy, so in this
court ruling here about Apple. Adair's just sitting back down, but something's happened to Apple. And I just punched short right now on Apple. Apple's starting to go to the downside a little bit right now. Sorry, but I did not mean to interrupt you there. But Apple is going down, and I just punched short. There goes Apple. I heard some sort of a court thing in my ear about Apple. So right now I'm short. We're 30 cents in the money. Traders got to trade. But what's up, Adair?
Apparently, a court ruling is saying that Apple must face U.S. antitrust lawsuit accusing it of monopolizing the smartphone market. So there's no decision on this lawsuit yet. It hasn't even happened yet. But according to a court ruling, Apple must face this U.S. antitrust lawsuit, again, accusing it of smartphone market monopoly. Back to you.
It is right there, man. There's a Brendo goat. There's the face slapper. There's what we're talking about right there. So, you know, it goes back to that thing. What are you trading on? News? Are you trading on levels? What are you trading on? How about all of them right there? Show your, yeah, exactly. Show your abilities. Trade names that are moving around. But again, this is not for everybody. We're able to do it really fast here and get in and get out to the point where I'm already out of half of this trade and I just got into it. So just real quick executions there on Apple. And to what Adair said, that's why I want to throw to her immediately. Like, it's not taking action yet or anything like that. It's a court ruling. So let's wait to see what Apple's response is. Obviously, you know, their team's going to have something to say about this. And I don't even know that they were in court or like these guys are in court every day about everything. So here's a ruling not favorable for Apple. Looks like it could go against us. This could be basically a flat trade at the end of the day. I'm just going to punch out, man, if we take two bills. So this is pretty simple, $200.01. Market me out if it does take that. And I'll tell you, I think we'll still be up if it takes 200, but I'm not sure. So here, oh yeah, yes, I will be. Okay. Did I trade Apple anymore today or what? No. Okay, so we're still, actually, we got out of much more than I thought. Oh, we got out of, what am I talking about? Nah, we got out of about 75% of that trade. Okay, that's where my math is wrong. Okay, because I was like, even if I punch out now, I'm still up actually half decent on this. So yeah, we actually got out of 2/3 of that trade or so on that move down, breaking the low of the day there on Apple on that story. So yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah, no, that was kind of wild. I was already long Apple there from that 200. Funny enough, Sean, it comes in all the way to my stop. It takes out the stop and then it rips right back up. You can see. Okay. I was already long from here, from the morning session.
Sorry about that.
At 200, that's all good. And then I'm like, all right, well, news coming out, nothing to kind of, just look away from. So I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, well, it's coming.
There it goes.
Back
wow,
in.
wow.
Oh boy. So I got long as well. And it seems like, okay, all right. So I got to...
Apple, I have the story. Apple's looking to power Siri with other outside models.
Let's go.
So
right here. Getting really lucky with that one here, Sean. That long was absolutely crazy.
No, man, I'm not lucky with anything right now. So I actually punched a little long there on the way up. Apple is considering using AI tech from Anthropic or OpenAI. So there it goes, man. Google, let's go to the downside right now. I mean, I still own this stock, but we are short right now in the market. And if you're using not Gemini, then yeah, this is going to be said problem. So there it goes. Look, I'm long Apple right now. We just got back-to-back stories where I was not even looking at Apple or even trading Apple. And now all of a sudden, an Apple a day does not keep this trader away. But I don't, we're long right now at 201.50. This is not a new story. This is more probably negative for Google than it is a positive for Apple. I mean, we always thought that Apple was going to have to use something outside. They didn't drop any money. You know how much money they've dropped in AI? $10 billion or something like that. It's like a drop in the pan. I think they should buy Anthropic, period, but or Perplexity, but who knows? Let's go over to Adara, get some more color on the story.
Yeah, so the thing is, I really want to clarify how, I guess, for lack of a better term, contextually devoid this headline is. We have zero context, but the headline is that Apple considers using outside AI to fix Siri in a major reversal. So again, we don't know which company this is. We don't know which companies they are or are not looking at. All we know, according to this report, that apparently they're considering using outside AI, which, as Sean said, that's not really new information. We'd heard some reports previous. GOOGL is dropping on this. So yeah, here is a little bit more context here for this headline. Apparently they're weighing OpenAI or Anthropic as the potential partners here for this Siri power-up, but they have not made a final decision, and they're still considering their own models. So really, we didn't learn anything. Apple still could be using their own models to power Siri, or they could be using OpenAI or Anthropic. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was sort of getting at there when we brought it. I was saying that in my ear, they were saying those two and not Gemini. So I think that let's just wait. We're long this name. Yeah, so good cover there for Google. So it kind of went. Google gets hit real quick there. And remember, some of these things are just reports. It's until we kind of get a release maybe from Apple or something like that, I think it's going to be hard to sit here and judge exactly what this means. So I'm just going to wait. I mean, if we break 200, we'll get out. We got a little excited there. We didn't go ham on this trade or anything like that. There it goes. So we'll get out of 75% of that trade. As here it comes right back in again. So maybe now we start to talk about like what's up with that lawsuit, maybe now that they lost. So a little bit of back and forth there, blasting there for Apple. The weak name stays weak on the day. We did get hit there trying to go long on that story. So that's a failure. Make money on the short for the lawsuit and lose on this long, but we're still holding on to a third. It's still going to be a losing trade, man. I mean, this is going to have to rip up a lot for us to get that back because we did lose on 2/3 of it. Maybe we'll try a little bit more here as Apple tries to settle down. I think it's a positive story in the way that at least they're getting close to maybe announcing something. And I think that's what a lot of traders are looking for, especially to add into their positions. So, yeah, let's see what winds up happening with Apple there. We bought a little bit back there at 200, but in order to not be responsible or irresponsible, I wanted to get some out in case this tanks it into 198 or something. Apple has not been strong. Let's see if we can get some positivity here for Apple.
Yeah, that was absolutely wild here. But you guys know what's wild? Prop XP. Level up your trading game with Prop XP. Up to 1 to 200 leverage and static drawdown. Scroll the site and pick your challenge at propxp.com. Trade directly on our platform, sign up, try it for free, and start your trading journey. Enjoy rapid payouts and real human support, no bots. Rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot and trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, get 50% off with the code TraderTV. The link's in the description. Be the trader, get funded, join PropXP today. PropXP, your edge starts here. Visit propxp.com. All right, guys, that craziness on Apple, that shake and bake was absolutely wild there. So, yeah, again, like I said, I was originally long all the way from, what time was this? At around 10:51 right here as we left you guys for the midday show. That 200 hold was quite nice, and I'm like, all right, and I just let the position kind of sit there and cook, and I'm like, all right, well, this is kind of timing out here, but it's holding that 200 area, and it's holding higher highs and higher lows, so I pretty much stuck in it, and then the news comes out, right? So the news comes out. this quadruple happens. I see it happening. We're trading like 99 halves. I'm long 200s, just under 200. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see how this goes. I've already kind of accepted the risk down into the low 199s. Stops me out. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Stops me out. And then it rips right back up. It reclaims the half. I'm like, okay, well, I still like the same trade, the 200 hold, as it has been holding over and over again. And I'm like, all right, get long through the 200. And guess what? Rip City all the way up. I think I saw 202s on the tape as well.
202.50.
202.50s it went to. I posted up along here. It didn't really get it. Flushes all the way back down, and then it just kind of normalizes here. So crazy shake and bake. Crazy momentum on Apple, and that was wild that happened. But we'll talk a little bit more about what Apple's been doing over the past couple of weeks after we get back from Madeira.
So more context on the Apple story, guys. So this is a report from Bloomberg suggesting that Apple's considering powering their Siri upgrade with either Anthropic or OpenAI's ChatGPT. Though again, they're still considering their own model, and these talks are early. They are looking to upgrade this Siri by 2026, but here's the kicker. Apparently, Anthropic is asking for multi-billion-dollar per year annual fee, which would then increase sharply each year. So seems like Anthropic, with that price tag, could be a little bit iffy. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. But either way, Bloomberg reporting that Apple is considering either Anthropic or OpenAI to help power their Siri upgrade in 2026. Back to you.
Hey, devil's advocate, that sounds cheap. They write a check for $20 billion to Google just for Chrome yearly. Yeah. You know, so I think that Apple's willing to do something like that. They've put no money into this AI build, right? So, I mean, they put some money into it, but, you know, their plan, I think, always from day one is to get something done. And I think if they can not force Anthropic, but if they can get someone to sign on that, I think they do it. I think they do that deal with Perplexity. They do that deal with anybody, man. Cash for Apple, they don't know what to do with all their cash.
Exactly.
I mean, they have buybacks. They have all this stuff. Like, you want to rocket this stock to the moon, you do a move like that. You know, you get Perplexity involved, you get Anthropic involved, and you just get other people that know what they're doing in the space involved. You know, and so you can see a little bit of a different play there with Zuckerberg. He's trying to go the other way and bring people in and then build out. I think this is the right way for Apple, and I champion that move, and I actually want to buy more Apple shares when I hear something like that because, again, not undervalued, but just with what's been happening with some of these Mag 7 names, you know, you got to be careful and, just trade whatever you think. I mean, sometimes these stories can catch you off guard and you know, really be a catalyst that can sort of spark a new wave here for Apple. Like, you know, if I look at this and look at NVIDIA, I mean, I don't want to compare. Apple's such a different stock than the rest of the Mag 7, but like, you know, where the Nasdaq is right now, I don't know if there's ever been such, and maybe I can ask Perplexity or Anthropic this question, but, you know, when's the last time that Apple's been this disconnected from the Nasdaq, where the Nasdaq is at all-time highs again today, and Apple continues to be down 30%. It's down $60 from 260, whatever that percentage point is, 20-something% away from its highs. That doesn't seem right. So I think that there is some more to go here for Apple, and let's just see if we're right. And there it is, man. We're almost back to positive land now. After, for some stupid, dumb reason, we dumped our Apple there. Well, I told you why when it broke through 200. We're able to buy some more there right here on the move back through the 50-period moving average. So there's another out for us on Apple on the high side of this trade. So we're happy with it. We're now $1 in the money on this one. We've pretty much made back what we lost on that play on the dump down. But yeah, Apple's still giving us a little bit more room to run. We can get back into here, like right where we spiked into actually. Like, why not 202.50, man? Let's hold out to see if we can get that.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one to watch out for. I'm also watching Reddit here. Reddit with a little bit of a breakdown, so did kind of participate in that one as it started to roll over. Finally got to that 150, so 149.89 is the current low of this action right now, not day low. The day low is sitting here at 146.80. Don't know if we're going to quite get there, but you can see right here that 150, kind of that opening range high as well. Yeah, that Apple shake and bake was absolutely wild and slowly grinding back up is that bid. But this is what I was talking about on Apple earlier, Sean. I was like, yeah, we kind of, we were like, okay, all last week, we were stuck in this range and it was pretty solid right here. So it could not get past this 199. Boom, 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 over. And then the high of the range, 203s. We couldn't even get to 202. We couldn't properly print past 202 halves. On that crazy shake and bake, where orders come into the market, and maybe you ping some extremes there, and yeah, interestingly enough, holding still all of that volatility, but still holding within range on Apple. So I kind of like that for that. If we did reclaim on that 200, that would I think that was pretty nice as well, because again, bouncing off of the low of that consolidation. But I got eyes on Reddit right now as well. Let's see if we can distinctly push below this 150 mark. A bit of failure to follow through of this prior high from last Wednesday. So you can see, again, sellers show themselves here last Wednesday pretty aggressively. And then once again, coming in on the back through, I'm looking for those sellers to see if they're just as dominant. But something to remember, this thing is trending up. Even though we get these aggressive wipes, overall, still getting higher highs and higher lows here on Reddit. Pretty choppy, pretty wicky. I think lots of momentum on the intraday if you're looking for opportunities. But again, bigger picture stuff going on there as well. But yeah, let's see if we can crack through that 150 sort of distinction. Oh my God, Apple's going to 202 now.
Yeah, dude, we're almost $2 in the money here. By the way, the fattest of pipes. We brought this to you guys in the pre-market when this thing was $7.80. And Adair and I were like, well, it's only done 3,000 shares. And it hadn't done that much. It really hasn't done anything until right now. This addition into the S&P 3000E right there. Huge move there for Fat Pipe, up now 31%. Rewind, man. As soon as I saw this come in this morning, I was like, all right, recent IPO. Trying to break out. There it goes on some kind of news. I have no idea what this means for them, and I would be fading it. I mean, I know what it means, but I think this 31% is probably too much. But there goes Fat Pipe. Congratulations to anybody that had that one. And yeah, man, there goes Apple. And like I said, I sometimes just say traders got to trade to kind of just say that, but like, you know, when you're getting news kind of like this on Apple, like I got dummied right there, honestly. That was a silly out. I feel like that was like just a major liquidity grab because they went up so much and then just pushed it down. And then traders like myself, you know, panic, get out, wait for a key level, breaks it. The thing is though, even as it breaks it, it does go down all the way down there to 199.50. So, you know, I feel pretty good about the spot that we got out. Obviously, now that we're all the way up here, I don't feel that great, but we did put it back on. We just had to pay 50 cents more and got it at $200.50 when it finally broke technicals, getting back there to the upside. So pretty happy with that trade for sure. Not happy with the end. I'll be happy with the end result, but not happy with how I, you know, traded that functionally during while it was happening. You know what I'm thinking about though?
Yes.
Isn't Google and all those tensor chips, that was the story that we had today, right? And it was that Google right now is powering, their chips are being chosen by whom? I'm just calling it up right now. Trading Higher reported that OpenAI has started renting Google's in-house tensor processing units. So, all right, so potentially their processing units are, not potentially, but more affordable than NVIDIA's, and now powering some parts of ChatGPT. Could they not be doing the same for Perplexity or Anthropic or anything like that? I know Anthropic does have the Amazon investments, and Amazon's also building the chips. But this could also not be horrible news for Google as well, because as Apple and their, what's their download base? 4 billion?
Oh, like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, this could be a great story for Apple and their users, because what do you think is going to happen when they actually put out a phone that has AI capabilities like everybody wants it to have? You know, then I think that's that mad dash to that upgrade cycle that should have happened last year.
Power hour.
I don't, honestly, man, like my life is not changing because Apple doesn't have a good Siri. Like, I think we overplay how important this stuff is, but for the stock and for future, you know, you don't want to be known as like being so late every time.
I mean, they are known for that.
No, but I'm saying that's what's hitting their stock.
Yeah.
Right? Is the fact that we're all sitting here worried about how late they are all the time. So if they can do a deal on this, yeah, just like Too Late Powell there, you know? Like if you can do a deal and get something done here, then you're all of a sudden you're not late at all. You're actually in a better position than everybody else because you haven't even spent that capital. So now you get to deploy it as everything's working out. And just as I talk like that, let's effing go right now. Like, let's go, Apple, man. There it is right now. It's a big-time trade there for Apple as it continues to go to the upside. Like, I apologize. I'm not like, you know, like a Neil or anything like that. I get a little excited. You know, but to each their own. And I'm happy to be here and to do all this kind of stuff. And again, like, you know, I'm trading to pay bills. And sometimes what's the repo man? The repo man cometh, take my shares away. And next thing I know, I'm down $1,000 bucks. But it's nice to be up a little bit here as we go and make a good call on that because I did have a bad slip up there on Apple when we got out there. But
that was pretty
really happy that it just got into where it is now. And see, just like Robinhood and just like some of that, you know, talk that we have earlier about taking profits when certain levels are hit. I have no idea if Apple's going to 205 today. But I'll take profits when we get high of day. So there it is, man. High of day trade right now, $2 in the money on Apple. Now that I've talked myself, you know, around this trade, I think I like it more. So let's just wait to see what happens here with Apple. I think that's great news. I may buy some more in the portfolio today.
I think here's the thing, bro. You can get loud as you want, as long as you're displaying good trading. And I think that you've shown that pretty well. You got stuck in a really sticky situation. There was nothing you could really control. That move was absolutely wild and uncalled for, right?
Uncalled
for, good
word.
But then you maintained the mental.
Yes.
You flip long, and you're like, this is what it's doing right now. I'm going to get with the trend, and I'm going to take the trade. And I think that's a great display of trading prowess, and I think done well.
I mean, I also think that there's an aspect of
stay nimble.
Yeah, no, like obviously act like you've done it before and things like that, but I just get excited because we have these trades on, we've talked about them, we're showing them to everybody here in the chat. And Obi, like now Apple's almost my #1 stock, and it got hit back down there pretty bad and turned me quite red on the stock when we got hit there. And then now we stay in the game, and here it goes, man. It pops right back up, and it's nice when things work out and when we can have that, you know, sort of the confidence to do it. And I said this before. You know, I'm trying to talk. I know I've talked to you about it. I can't talk about this with Neil because he's his own guy, right? He's been here forever. It's just like with Joe and Sharif and you. It's like you can't get comfortable until you're uncomfortable. And I don't know how else. I don't know how else to say that. You know,
that's great. I think that's solid advice. I think you remember Spencer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Spencer, one of the
OGs.
One of the OGs. He's a great trader and one of the top traders on the floor when I came in. As well, and I asked him. I was like, "Well, before he left, I was like, what's one piece of advice that you would give?" He would look at me and he said, "Obi, get comfortable with getting uncomfortable."
Yeah,
right? That was some great advice there.
You know, it's like when I play with these girls, and it's just like on baseball, and it's just like I say to them, like, you know, they say, "Oh my God, we have a tough pitcher like ahead of us. Like we're facing somebody that's tougher," and I'm just like, "Well, that's like what we want. You know, we don't want to face the shittiest competition out there. We want to face the best competition so we can get better." Yeah. You know, and I think that's something that, you know, as far as trading is concerned, like it means a lot to be able to do stuff like that when you're trading. If you're just sitting there, you know, pushing in sim mode, and sim mode's great. Sim mode's great for traders that are learning to trade. I mean, you know, all of the players play T-ball at one point, right? So it's like you got to get used to what you're doing and be comfortable in the trade. And until you are, I don't think you should be leveling up anything. But once you are comfortable, you know, sitting around and trading, I think it's nice to up your shares and start to go for something. So here we go, man. We're short Google, we're long Apple. I don't know if that's going to be a good relation, but we were able to take out of that right there on the move down. And this is all while we're screaming and yelling about Apple too. So we took advantage of that because I think it was Joe Money over there said Google's also tanking, or maybe it was Adair, maybe it was you, or maybe it was someone in the chat. But when that started happening, I was like, all right, well, I'm short, so we got to take some out. Meanwhile, I had 10 times the shares on Apple that we did on Google because it was a new position. But there it goes right now up to 203. So where may Apple stop? I mean, I think you've already identified that, Obi. You mentioned that this 203 area had a top that we had problems busting through. But guess what? We ain't gonna have no problem this time because now we actually have a real catalyst. So I've already selected that I'm trading off catalysts more than anything else these days. So here we go. It's a nice move to the upside right now for Apple. Let's see if it has enough juice to break through this 202. With that said, I only have 50% left of this position. So, and with that being said, I'm gonna take another 5% right here at 68 if I am so lucky to get it. And there we go. So we get the 68 now, and now we start to get out a little bit more of Apple, and we'll wait to see what winds up happening now. But again, I like the stock here at this level, and I think it's gonna be a long tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, again, this continuation is going absolutely crazy here. The 203. So we did break that reference high as well there on Apple. And again, I want to point out the top of the range right here. Again, we've been coming into this 203 area, but can't really get past in the trading session. Sure, in the pre-market session last Tuesday, we did get all the way up to just shy of 205, 2 pennies away from it actually, 204.98. That traded in the pre-market on last Tuesday. But you can see since then, intraday, we haven't really been able to make a distinct push above 203. A little bit of a push last Wednesday on the opening drive, but then reclaims just as quickly at a second attempt later on in the day, kind of pulls it back in as well. So again, let's see if that range is finally going to get broken now with a little bit of catalyst, with a little bit of shake and bake volume. You lick grab the lows and then you push for the highs. You got to ask the question what the probability of the breakout then becomes given this information here that we're seeing. And it's been a slow and steady grinding bid back up through this wick action that we had. So that was absolutely wild there. And yeah, the market's coming back in as well. Again, don't forget, Apple is one of the top constituents when it comes to both futures. So definitely got to watch out to see what Apple is doing. But in terms of other stocks, I know that Google had a bit of a shake and bake on that, and yeah, I think that was pretty nice when it came in and flushed that 175. But then look at that reclaim as of right now. Still couldn't get back up to VWAP just yet, but a nice little reclaim and reversion of that candle itself. So interesting action here. Oh boy, here goes Apple. So this thing potentially can keep on going here. Yes, sir. Great trade there, Sean.
Yeah, man, $3 right now in the money on that. And it's, again, what we're trying to do, like I just said, where's the catalyst? The catalyst is there to break that 203 level. I said that at 202.50. So, I mean, the fact that this is happening right now is just icing on the cake, baby, because there goes Apple right now, short to long to boom. Right there for Apple. So let's go Apple. Let's look at something else now. All right, SoFi down there to 18.20. Like for me, I'm up a good amount here on Apple. It's turning out to be one of the better trades. So that's why I keep on talking about it. I apologize. Let me just go over here quickly and look because Bitcoin's not doing anything and I keep hearing about altcoins. So let's go right now and see what's going on with altcoins. So, okay. All right, so altcoins right now, just real quick, we do have something in play. Let me see what Bitcoin's doing. It's right here, the last 24 hours. Right now, Bitcoin flat, Ethereum, there you go. Hey, take a look at that. All your money's in Ethereum by accident.
Yeah,
up 2% right there. So that's a nice move there. And our XRP together, 2.6%, so that's good too. Solana up 3, which is really nice. My Cardano up 3%. Right now, barely my Cardano, but we have some money in that still. Other than that, I'm sure there's many other coins that are starting to whip around a little bit there. Bitcoin Cash, actually, I remember trading that. BCH, I believe, is the symbol on that when we were back trading crypto more. But yeah, I really like all of those plays. What's the market cap right now for crypto? 343. Okay, the highest I've ever shown on this show is 354. So 3.54 trillion for Bitcoin. Sorry, the whole market cap. Which Bitcoin is as a percentage of it, I don't know, but it's a 2 trillion. So a third of the whole market cap right now in cryptoverse is Bitcoin, and I think that eventually grows higher than that. So, okay, what's up, Adara?
We have an update on the AT&T Donald Trump story. Now, in case you missed it, we did have a couple posts from President Donald Trump on Truth Social less than an hour ago, upset that AT&T, which I guess was supposed to be helping as a carrier for a conference call that Trump is holding, there were some issues with the AT&T network. Trump asked the, quote, boss of AT&T, whoever that may be, to get involved, and then said that they're going to have to reschedule the call with a different carrier for next time because AT&T doesn't know what they're doing. Then AT&T actually just came out and responded. They said they've reached out to the White House and they're working to quickly understand and assess the situation. So AT&T is still trading near day's highs even after that snafu. Interesting look for T. Let's see if there's any other updates to this catalyst. Back to you.
Yeah, so 204 is almost coming in here on Apple. So solid one on that one. We'll just let that one kind of do its own thing. It seems like I'm kind of watching the tape here in the book. It's just a grinding bid that's slowly kind of pushing its way back up. Again, I'm sure a lot of people may be using this candle here, that 202, 203, but that reclaim of that 200 was quite nice. And again, being aware of that bigger picture, being like, all right, well, if we're gonna reclaim that range low just as aggressively on news and then start to push higher and reclaim that 200, yeah, I like it a little bit better.
Bye
for
bye.
A potential push. And yeah, definitely a little bit of bye-bye 204. So maybe some squeezing action coming into Apple as, again, I'm expecting it to get a little bit spicy as we push into that 205 mark as of right now. So that's pretty much 50 pennies away here, Sean. So yeah, gotta let the Momo run until it kind of dissipates, and I think then that will be a little bit more telling. Markets breaking some structure highs as well. That can definitely add fuel to the fire. We can see the tape speed increasing. We can see even I guess more larger participants getting taken out with more ease on the ask there as well. It's kind of all confirming and giving us confluence for that continued bid here. So where will it stop? Nobody knows. Let's see what Adara has to say.
9 Paramount here, PARA. This got a little bit of a pop. This is, I guess probably now about 10 minutes ago. I didn't see this headline come out until about 3 minutes ago. But either way, a court filing has revealed that lawyers for President Donald Trump and Paramount are engaged in good faith advanced settlement negotiation talks over Trump's $20 billion lawsuit related to one of Paramount's entities. So PARA pushing to the upside. Looks like this lawsuit might be resolved. Back to you.
Join Adara and Joe tonight for your market recap show, where they'll be discussing everything related to this Apple trade, I'd imagine, or the Apple story, of course, as we continue to just print upside there on Apple. All right, if there's anything else, let's just go, man, and go over something else here because, yeah, whatever. All right, so Big Bear AI, something else to look at for me here. Why not? Let's do that. So we've been talking about this all day. I made the call already earlier, and, you know, while Apple was happening, that's not, and actually, no, that hasn't happened. I was going to say, we did try to come back up to that level. I was saying 720 is probably a fade. Did you see Apple, Joe? I know you're just coming back. Look at Apple. Yeah, it's gone berserk. I'm long at 200 even. So
slow grind to the upside.
Okay, so slow grind. It's just grinding right now, Joe. Don't worry about it. Yeah, right there. But there it goes right now. I just want to say about Big Bear AI, like, if we get back to that 720, I kind of think that it's a fade until we break that and give yourself to 725. Like, if you short 715s right now, you could get, and we're just talking about moves that we've seen in the afternoon. Now it's power hour. It's 313, sorry. So, you know, maybe this just wants to sleep out a little bit here and wait for tomorrow's big pump up. Pump up the jam, pump it up. Well, I kind of do mine, but we can go over to Joe. What's up, Joe?
This is, honestly, this is what I'm talking about. In
There's
the, like,
205.
There we go. In the likes of Apple, though, I was saying, hey, I think this is a good name to start buying. I'm not saying this is the catalyst to get it out of its downtrend and for it to start to kind of play catch up with the overall market. But this is the start of something. This is exactly what you want to see. And when you have these big names like Apple and they have so much free cash flow on him, then look, you're just on the right side of a trade. Take that much for a tailwind, and sure enough, a spark ignites the fire.
Thank you very much, Joey Thunder. Almost as if he was listening to what we were talking about, because I think that's great that we all have the same ideas. This is why I'm freaking holding this. This is a $6 winner right now. Like, this is not playing around. You know, this is a big time winner. This could, you know, P&L wise, maybe the biggest trade of the month besides the Circle trade for me anyways. Well, no, that's not true. We did have a crazy one on NVIDIA. I think it was last week. But this is a good one because of the fact that we actually just building planting red roses, right? I mean, it's just all the way up. We're getting out of like 5% each stack. And that's just because I don't know where it's going. I'm looking at the net. I'm a slave to my net. I always talk about that. Like when I'm in the money a decent amount, then I start taking it out. You know, trading, sometimes I'll trade 100x, you know, and it's just, again, different styles. You know, we talk about it. Obi and I are very similar in the style. I think myself and Joe are as well, where we'll look for 3 or 4 names throughout the day, and I will put pretty much let's ride mentality into most of those ideas. And then the other traders, you know, might have, and I say this all the time, and this is, you know, I ask Neil, how many symbols have you traded today? We don't discuss share size, but he'll be like 13, you know, and I'll be like 4 or 5. And again, it's just looking for different opportunities, looking for different things. So like when we had this Apple trade on, we started to justify what could happen, you know, on this kind of a catalyst. And like I said, I think this is the right one for Apple. So, you know, we're sitting there, we'll bang it out and we'll make a bit of cash on this and be pretty happy with it and just wait to see now, you know, where this goes into the close. I mean, I'm expecting a buy and balance, right? This is huge. I'm actually kind of feeling FOMO that I didn't flip over into my own account. Remember we talked about
literally were like 200 might be a good place earlier
Remember
today.
to you
Literally
actually
today,
asked,
I was like, yo, like this is what I'm waiting for to get longer.
And what did I tell you though?
It doesn't matter what you're after.
I said, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what price you're waiting for, because if you like the stock, you're gonna look back in a couple years or whatever and say, oh my God, like this stock is at 250, and it doesn't really matter that I bought 201 or 198. Yeah. You know,
I mean, do it.
I'm not playing with that much cash.
Do it for Nvidia or Tesla. Remember when Tesla was at 100? Remember when Nvidia was at 100? Right, same thing. Remember when Apple bounced off?
I remember when Carvana was at $4.
That was not very long. Oh, here's some
3 years ago.
That's okay. So this is the first kind of aggressive selling that's coming here on Apple. So again, that was a grinding bid, and again, a little bit of change in behavior back through that 205. We talked about that prior high. Where was that at? That was at 204.98. So as of right now, for me, technically, this is a little bit of a false break unless and until it can distinctly reclaim that 205. But that grinding bid stepping off with just over 40 minutes left during the trading day, so absolutely crazy. Reddit seems like it's finally kind of starting to roll over here, trading below that 150. So let's see if we can kind of get that idea to come to fruition. Markets here still, funny enough, Apple, again, one of the top constituents, kind of screams over about, what is that? It's up almost 2% on the day now, and the markets here still kind of within their range that they've been chopping around. Sure, we kind of got some extension potentially through that range and then reclaims as well. So interesting stuff nonetheless on some of those names. I want to ask in the chat, so throw it up in the chat. Did you guys trade that Apple move? Are you guys trading any of these news moves that are happening? We know a lot of opportunity it has been revolving around news-driven catalysts in this market. So again, getting involved and staying involved when the news comes out and the price action and the trade is all kind of in confluence for what you want to see. Are you guys participating in any news trades? Is that part of your playbook? Is the question. So yeah, maybe a poll for asking: is part of your playbook news trading? Right? Are you trading off the news? I know a lot of people strictly stay away from it, being like, okay, it's a little volatile. They might wait for price action to kind of settle down. There's that 205 reclaim on Apple. They might wait for price action to settle down before getting involved. But the fact of the matter is, I honestly believe some of the best trades in the market is when sentiment shifts. And that sentiment shift can be brought on by earnings, by intraday news, whatever it is. Those are some of the biggest catalysts in the market, in my opinion. And intraday catalysts being some of the best as well, because intraday, you can put the intraday float offside. You can also put the weekly, the monthly, a whole bunch of different participants offside if there's a true sentiment shift. Or I guess aggressive price action as well. So we're seeing maybe some of that here on Apple. 205 consolidation happening right now. So again, the first sign of kind of selling that did step in. But the question is, if we're actually going to push this range high in and around 205, sure, I think it's more than valid that we may take a little bit of a breather. But the question becomes, do we sustain these levels going into the close, and then more so tomorrow as well for a bit of that continued move, or do we just stay within range, right? Technically, as of right now, this is still within range unless and until it can reclaim that 205 with any sort of distinction. But the ES pushing to the upside as well. Nasdaq as well. We did get that bounce once again off of that 22,800. So keeping eyes peeled for the next opportunity. I want you guys to set it up in the chat. What tickers are you guys trading on a day like today? We know a lot of stocks were in play. Palantir, Google, I was definitely wrong on. Palantir, again, did not really show us that much of a continuation off of the open, but there's definitely lots of opportunity. We know a lot of people were also involved in that BMR, BM something.
BMNR?
Something like that. That one that's been moving around like crazy as well. So I gotta do a little bit of a deeper dive into that one later, because I guess some certain traders that I guess I potentially look up to definitely traded it aggressively today. So again, not part of my playbook, but more than willing to make things part of my playbook if I do suspect there to be some edge there.
All right, this is going to be, let's go look at who's made all of the here at Real Trading. So this is from Friday. So this is not today. This is all going to be in US dollars. We'll keep Apple up here on the side just in case all y'all want to see. I think this is much more than just a news play, man. This is like a momentum play right now on Apple. I mean, yeah, breaking that 203 level, you get news and you get the stories. The news and the momentum of a key level break. I like Apple. All right, so this is compare your profits. Oh boy, okay, I just saw what it was. Here we go. Man, we missed a day on Friday.
Oh boy.
This is why I was sitting there like, Neil, punch short, Obi, somebody. But there it is right there, man. Big trade alert all day on Friday here at Real Trading. This is not simulated funds. I can just speak for that because I know that to be the case. And we only post on here. Any numbers that we show are actual trades being made by real traders here at Real Trading, and not part of a competition, not part of like, you know, fake buying power or anything like that. These are real P&L top 10 traders right here. So we had somebody make 90 grand on Friday on the Nasdaq only. So that's probably,
I wonder what stocks that was on.
Same, Obi. And I actually will tell you it's probably not on anything you're thinking. But right there, Nasdaq, no, I'm being serious. I'll find out. I'll find out. But I'll find out if it was a usual suspect or not.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. That's what we'll tell the audience, okay? And then I'll tell you whatever.
Yes.
All right, so Nasdaq in New York, right there, 80,000. Another 42,000 on Nasdaq. Another 38,000. Someone trading. Whenever you see Amex, it probably is spies, you know, or GLD or something like that. So you know, watch FXI, something like that. And then Amex again, Nasdaq. Amex, Nasdaq. So I feel like 1, 2, 3. These three traders may all be attached at the hip or something like that, and which is fine, you know, whatever. Trader's gonna trade. And then right there, Canada, Amex as well. So there must have been a big Amex imbalance. I was not here on Friday, so I don't know. And then Nasdaq. That's who's making. Money. All right, and that's a lot of money. That's a couple down payments right up in there. You know what I'm saying? That gets Sharif that SIBE finally right there. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't here, so that was definitely not me. But okay, and I've never put up 98 grand in front of everybody here. So that's
not yet, at least.
Right. Accurate statement, Obi. Okay, so right now, here we go, again, all the way up to highs. It's funny, if you actually rewind it, when we just dipped down there, I was like, this is a reload spot. Didn't do anything about it. 206 coming and going just as fast as everything else came and went. So there it is, man. We're now $6 in the money, and here we go. Huge move to the upside. Man, do I love trading. I love being here with everybody every single day. Bye-bye, Apple. Next time we'll put a 0 on the end of the shares that we're taking, and I'm being serious. I don't have any restrictions on my account whatsoever. So let's see how high
How do I get an account like that, Sean?
Well, we already know how. Yeah, so. And again, what we do here at Real Trading is everybody has their own restrictions, their own stops. It's based on, you know, performance. We have a, and plus, obviously, I've been here 20-something years as well. And Obi has a big account. We're just playing around. It's just a matter of, you know, getting comfortable. Like we said, I feel like I'm more comfortable now. in bigger spots, and I'm just glad that we had put something on here and made this a little bit of a special afternoon. So, all right, so wow, 206. Thing is, that story was so effing important for Apple that it's like that's exactly what everybody's waiting for. Like, that's why their Apple Intelligence Day was such a flop, or whatever they had the other day. It was, or a couple of weeks ago. It was because they didn't announce anything like this. You know, everybody's waiting for this massive breakout. So for those of you that did not buy Apple in there around 200, now you got to pay 3% more. It's just, it is what it is. And if you don't buy it now, you're going to be paying 209 by close. So let's just wait to see what happens here with Apple as we continue to go higher and higher and higher. Chill. We'll see. Let's sit in the rest of this and see how far Apple can go. Hopefully higher than this.
Yeah, I think honestly, like, if this momentum and this trend kind of continues, we still have 35 minutes left until the bell rings. And again, like you say, I think the move is much bigger. It's clearly showing us a grinding bid back to the highs can definitely put us within range of 210s even, if not today, well within the near future as well. So I'm going to be watching that, but. Let's kind of continue talking about this crazy Apple move after we get back from mid-era. 207s now.
Speaking of crazy moves, TSLA pushing here into low of days into the close. I'm not seeing any Tesla-specific news, but I do have one headline that might be the reason. We know in the past when Elon Musk has spoken negatively about Donald Trump's one big beautiful bill, the market has moved lower as a response, and that's likely because, of course, Elon Musk and Donald Trump had a very public alliance and friendship that then ended up having a little bit of a falling out. It's unclear what terms they're on right now, but what is clear is that Elon Musk still has issues with that big beautiful bill. 17 minutes ago, he posted on X basically saying that the U.S. needs a new political party that actually cares about the people and continues, continuing to not be a fan of this big, beautiful bill. This, again, I said 17 minutes ago or so it was posted, but it's really circulating on X within the last 5 to 10 minutes. So just keep an eye here on TSLA. Still hanging out near lows of days. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, I was just kind of said, just jokingly, like, we'll see you at 209, but I don't know where Apple's going. I'm going to get out of another 2% or something right here. I mean, I wouldn't thought that we came back here this afternoon and would see this. I mean, this whole trade started short right there, and then waxed out right there.
Flip game strong.
Flip game very strong. Yeah, no, it is. It's pretty strong for sure. And I just think that that's part of the experience again, right? This is not like, yeah, man, the futures love this Apple trade.
Highs.
Remember I was just talking about the disconnect from the futures and Apple?
Back.
Yeah, we're back. They all of a sudden are very connected. What the hell was I talking about? But yeah, no, there it goes. Yeah, they were like, wait a second, this idiot is right. But yeah, there it goes. Trump and Netanyahu going to meet at the White House. That probably is not good. That's July 7th. Well, maybe it's good. Who knows? We'll see if there's some love between those two again, and we get some resolve. But I don't know. So I was away all week. Not away, but away from the news, really, all weekend with this baseball thingamajig going on. But I didn't really... What is going on with Iran now? Like, I didn't see... I think it's pretty... Did they come up with I think they had that sort of ceasefire agreement there. I don't know if it got extended to a certain day or what, but yeah, that seems to be nice. Not nice, it's nasty over there for sure. But let me just go over to CL and we didn't talk anything about oil at all today. So let's just get a quick little peek here at what's going on. So oil right now down 1%. Again, yeah, so I think oil's doing the same kind of thing that I'm doing right now, wondering where that next step is, because just kind of floating around right now, crude at these levels. Excuse my ignorance. I don't know. There probably still is some. Obviously, there's tons of hardships on both sides, but I just only talking about that because I heard it in my ear that Netanyahu was coming to speak with Trump. So hopefully, I think that's better for the region. I mean, Donald Trump has already. He used the F-bomb talking about how...
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
okay, he's getting serious.
Yeah, so I think that he's like, yo, let's wrap this thing up somehow and get this all figured out. Because, again, that's the big, beautiful bill, plus, everything that Donald's been wanting to do with Doge and with all that kind of cleaning up. This is just another sort of one of those feathers. Unfortunately, I hate that we're, judging it by that, but I think that that's what he would like to be known by, trying to come up, solve this 12-day war thing there. Remember he said that, though, the minute he takes office, the Ukraine-Russia thing would be resolved within days. So it's been 150 days, I think, since he's been in office.
Like I'm sure the issues are a lot more complicated than they're presented at face value. But the thing is, like, I don't really, to answer your question, I'm not really following anything too crazy. Like, yeah, I'll scroll through my feed on X over the weekend, but I'm not really, you know, registering anything too crazy. If something stands out to me that I'm like, okay, well, this can be a potential trade, then I'm really giving it some sort of precedent. But other than that, I'm not really following anything too crazy. I just want to, you know, spend time with loved ones. Do my thing.
That's the important thing these days, for sure.
I have a thing with whether it's mainstream media or any sort of media. I'm just like, I'd rather be not you know, influenced by anyone else's biases. I just want to trade my trades. That's all I want to do. See what Adara has to say.
So beware here, PLTR dropping pretty violently. I don't see any news on this, but once we broke that 137 level, we have really not looked back. Currently trading around actually below 135. So PLTR, more weakness. I have no news on this right now, guys. Back to you.
A little bit of action. Okay. So we talked about that 138, right, Sean? And we were like, okay, well, there's sellers there. When do they show up, or if they do show up, when? It seems like now. Like sellers are coming in. Again, no news like Adara just told us, but maybe something shows up a little bit later. But the fact of the matter is we could not effectively reclaim that reference price, and we got a little bit of continuation as well. Again, you can see that imbalance came out at the end of the day, but people were already selling right off of the open, as almost as if people had information from before, right? So it's just like, all right, well, aggressive selling, stair step down, aggressive selling, and then let's see how strong this selling is into this close, or do we make a higher relative low to that 130.31 from Friday? That's what I'm asking. 206s and some change. 207s almost the high on Apple there. The market's taking a little bit of a breather with under 30 minutes left in the trading day as of right now here. So Reddit still kind of chopping and holding that 150 mark. So I'm kind of watching that one as well. Yeah, no, I think Apple is definitely one of the trades of the day. And yeah, it doesn't really show up till much later off of the list that again, as soon as it kind of breaks that trend on the day, I think I'll be starting to make some on Apple. But yeah, as of right now, we did get that little bit of a chop and pull back into 205s. I think that's well within range. Again, because that was that prior high. Definitely can be expecting some stuff there, and we saw some stuff. But again, look at that buyer step right back in and then push us a little bit higher. So the question becomes, can we print the next quarter? And by quarter, I mean 207 halves and then push into 210s. That's the question I'm asking right now. I think if we sustain pretty well over 205s, I think that can be within range. If not today, within the coming days for sure. So Apple going to be definitely one to watch out for. And again, none of the other Mag 7, I guess I'm not really watching Meta right now, so let's take a look at what that one's up to. Meta, nothing too crazy. Again, coming in with that pre-market relative volume, but kind of dwindling off and selling off of the open. How that relative volume just kind of gets clocked right off of the open, and we're back down to 1 times relative volume, doing about normally what it does on any given day. So Meta's got that going on. Futures back at their highs. I want to take a look at, you know what, let's take a look at TQ and see where we're at kind of on a bigger picture perspective here. So let's take a quick look. So hourly, let's go straight up to the 3 hour here on the TQs. And you can see, again, with the market bidding up, sure, the markets and the futures are at their all-time highs. This is a little bit of a leveraged product. So again, 92, 93s are the highs on the TQs. And then again, if you want to kind of compare that to the Qs themselves, again, obviously the Qs have already broken their highs. But you can see that prior high on the Qs was 539.83. Trading at 551. Nice little breakout continuation happening there on that one. It seems like this Reddit might be coming back above 1. Got to take a close look. Okay, so positively pup in the chat saying, Obi, look at Netflix. It's heading to the downward for sure. No, I don't know. Quick look. Listen, I don't know anything for sure. Maybe with some probabilities, perhaps, but again, I don't. on Blake's LX in terms of a strong opinion. But again, you can see that over time, over the past, I guess, multiples of months, Netflix has been the trade to be in. Again, looking at this on the weekly, absolute strength. This thing is absolutely crazy here. And again, this bid coming in all the way from 2022, one of the strongest stocks since. We've seen some of the Mag 7 even take stronger pullbacks on this action. But you can see this since 2022, absolutely beautiful and clean trend to the upside. Sure, a little bit of a chop as we enter that 1,000 mark. Here we pulled back pretty decently all the way to 826s, but then nice reclaim. 1,300 last week, 1,350 almost within horizon now. I'm curious to know, Sean, is this going to give us 1,500? I think if the trend continues, that's well within range here on Netflix. You also have to remember, they were not affected by the tariffs. They were not affected by a lot of things. They were not affected by a lot of things that caused the markets to get as volatile as they did. And it just caught a steady bid up, I think. So definitely one to watch out for. So it's a good look there.
And if you're charting anything, I believe you should use the best charting software that you can get your hands on. And for me, that's eSignal. So make sure you scan that QR code below because we are giving you 1 month free of eSignal services. Completely entitlement based, meaning that you can go ahead, ask them for moon trading or blue ocean or anything like that, after hours stuff. You know, Nasdaq, NYSE, Amex. If you're only trading futures, man, grab the CME from them. Grab NYMEX, all that. So, you know, we really like it. We want to thank them for sponsoring. You have over 500 symbols at once, which is what makes their scanners just so much better than the rest. And with AI just improving every single day what's showing up over there. We also do have, of course, back testing, some of those tick replays, and then here it is right here. These are the scanners that we're talking about, the screeners. There's many options. I mean, we're just dropping down a little bit right there to show you what's available. And then all the columns too, like you can put anything up there, different news-based functionality here as well. I believe you can connect to Dow Jones Newswire, to Reuters, just to say a few. So yeah, get in touch with eSignal by scanning that QR code. And we want to thank eSignal for sponsoring the show here today. All right, so Apple, again, man, $6. I was going to say it looks like it's getting a little bit exhausted up here. We have a lot. This is our biggest area of outs so far here today. And what I mean by that is just we took a lot out here at 205, right? We let it basically levitate from 205 all the way to 207, and that's where we started getting out ahead of this 207 area. So right now, in total, Obi, I have to report less than 7% left on this trade. So yeah, it's nice for now. Hopefully we can get some reload spots in there as well. But yeah, it's been a good one, man. And we'll you know, we'll turn our day green. We have a green day there today. We did sort of screw up on Amazon. I don't want to say screw up, but we did chase Amazon just a little bit too much there. When it came into that 221, like I thought there was going to be a hold there because at about 10:30. So we bought Amazon, it was working really well until it didn't, and we turned ourselves red there. Then we rebought it back on a 221, was that 222 break? Yeah, 222 break. It went up to VWAP, which is 222, 650s, 60s. We were able to get some out, and we were green again there on Amazon. Then it came back in, we reloaded it, took it out, that was all good. But then by that time, we still had a little bit more on. We're trying to make that one big, beautiful trade. And yeah, we averaged it back in there at 221 before eventually losing it and getting out at 220.75. So that turns out to have been a big, beautiful mistake going long. And, you know, Amazon really ate my lunch today as well. So that adobo chicken was pretty good, right? I told you that there was a good chance.
It was great.
For that to be good. So that was really good there today as well. Yeah, one big, beautiful trade. Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. Sometimes I surprise myself, but okay, so that's what's going on there. Good call out there on Netflix, and yes, I agree with you. I believe Netflix is a story to be told for a very long time. And Squid Game, not that the Squid Game is strong here or anything like that, but you do have new Squid Game season 3 is out. My son wants to really watch it badly, so we'll probably maybe try to catch an episode with him tonight. And that's the final one.
Okay.
So
right.
Yeah, I think
I've seen some of the first one. And I kind of
yeah, it's okay. I think everyone got real excited about it early, and then I don't know if I saw season 2. I thought it was appropriate with what to expect. But maybe it just didn't, it was so hyped up early. But what I'm saying is anyways, Netflix has had Stranger Things, a Squid Game, a bunch of good things.
You seen that Alice in Borderland?
I tried to watch that. I thought it was okay, but I was just not.
I thought it was definitely my kind of thing.
Yeah. No. I like it as well, but I didn't get like addicted to it. Keep adjusting this watch, man. I don't know.
That was one where I think I just binge watched it.
Yeah.
I had a whole weekend, and I'm like, all right.
That's Chinese, though, I think. Or is there a Japanese?
I think it's Korean.
Korean.
Yeah,
okay, it's the
Korean,
same. I think Squid Game is Korean, right? So, okay. Interesting stuff coming out of Korea, I guess, there. But
yeah, they're great storytellers.
And that's the other part about Netflix is really investing in outside content.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they do have a couple of things. Oh, I just started watching they own shipping, the Waterfront. Something like that. What's up, Adair?
Keep an eye here in PFE. CNN reporting that apparently a House committee is subpoenaing a Pfizer executive in a probe of alleged COVID vaccine delays. PFE is actually pushing higher in this, but either way, a reported House committee probe for PFE. Back to you.
Probes are fine, but not by aliens and House committees. And probably other things as well, but
unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going for that little checkup or something like that.
206 halves holding pretty well here. Again, I think imbalances. Again, can't forget, Friday we did have those strong imbalances, but today is actually the end of the month, right? Today is the 30th, so we definitely have to be watching some of these imbalances that are going into the close, and that could potentially bring us some more opportunities. Well, it's 3:41 right now, so about 9 minutes left until those come in, and Apple continues to hold its highs pretty well here. So again, I'm keeping eyes on this. I saw a few people in the chat talking about this BMNR, and I'm like, all right, well, today is day one. Let's see how it's doing, and let's see if it's holding up pretty well here. There's my alarm for imbalances, keeping me on track there, making sure that I'm doing what I'm doing and making sure I'm focused on the upcoming imbalances, because sometimes you can get a little caught off guard and be like, whoa, what was that? And those were imbalances. So I'm like, that happened to me a couple of times. I'm like, that's not happening again, and how can I fix that? Just throw on an alarm being like, imbalances are in. With that alarm being rung, let's take a quick look at how some of these large caps are setting up. And the first ones that I'm going to pull up are the ones that had aggressive moves on Friday. So let's start off with a little bit of goggles, and then we can take also a look at Palantir here as well. But Google, you can see that nice little flush on that news, that Apple news, I think, gave us that quick little flush. But we reclaimed and kind of settled back in. Haven't really broken this prior low or this current day low just yet. Again, I was talking about that 75 level holding up pretty nice as well. So Google, definitely one I'm going to be watching. Palantir as well. Again, that one's selling off a little earlier. 135 is potentially catching a little bit of a bid. And again, Amazon was another name that had an aggressive push. Look at that. Nice little aggressive push going into the close, and then another shake and bake off of the imbalances for a total move within about an hour. Was about over 2.5% there on Amazon going into the close. So I'm going to be watching some of that with that coming in. And again, futures at their highs, 22,900 closing in here on the Nasdaq, and then was it 6,255 closing in here on the ES as well. So one to watch out for. Some of those stocks are ones to watch out for. So that's what I'm waiting for. And then Reddit as well, I'm also participating, keeping an eye on it. It's kind of consolidating and holding that 150 mark right here, and has given up a little bit of the bid from the morning, not as aggressive anymore. So I did like that for a little bit of a backside push. Let's see if that'll come into fruition. But with this market being as strong as it is, I do have to keep keep things in mind and be a little wary. There's some selling coming in a little bit here on Apple.
Yeah. We just got more out there in the 50s. I'll show you.
There's no way that can be
400. Yeah, I think there should be more likes than that, man. 440 likes. I mean, come on, man. Nobody's job depends on this. We got to get more likes. It does not. 5,400 right there watching. If just You know,
50%.
Yeah, like yeah, I mean 2,000 should be attainable, but let's hit that. We want to say a happy Canada Day to everybody tomorrow. So we're still going to be here as July 1st hits. We'll still be here all day tomorrow, usual show, and then it is a half day on Thursday and I don't know. Sharif mentioned like they're only going to be on for an hour on Thursday. No, I think we're going to go 11 to 1 with the guys, and then I'll come back in and do a recap show from 1 to 1:30, and we'll move it on because there's no like it'll be like 3 hours of me and you, then 1 hour of them, then 1 hour again of us. We're tired of me, that's for sure. Maybe it could be you and Miami Joe here. On the midday, but no, it should be a fun one, regardless of who does it. Yeah. It's a half day on Friday, and on Thursday, and then of course off on Friday for July 4th. So yeah, good so far, so good here today. As we're waiting for Apple to make their moves, and hopefully the move is upside into the close. I haven't even looked at NVIDIA, at AMD, at my guy Marvell today. There's a lot of missed opportunities, but focus on where your bread is buttered. And oh, I even had Oracle up here. This is another stock. We're gonna go to Darren 1 second. Just wanna review this just real quick. Oracle had that huge bump early, and it's kind of been fading all afternoon. You know, this could be a level, we're getting close to those imbalances now, so I'm not like too worried about that, but if we broke through this 219, I'd say look out below there for Oracle. So if you're on this name, look out below. What's up, Adara?
9 OUST Ouster Inc. There's some speculation here on social media that the company will be partnering with Anduril. I want to clarify pure speculation, but nonetheless, OUST with a 10% short float is pushing to the upside. As you can see, pretty nice volume candle there. Back to you.
Yeah, no, I'm just watching this Reddit here. It's kind of just chopping around this 150. Just waiting to see if it kind of pulls into some fresh highs. It's kind of grinding, nothing too crazy, like I said. And I'm sure because this is not necessarily where a lot of eyes are on. Again, a lot of eyes definitely on names like Apple or that BMNR that's been going crazy, right? Again, sub $10 to above, was it 20? Or something like that now. Absolutely crazy, crazy stuff in this market. This markets are getting pretty euphoric. I mean, just over the past couple of years, the crazy moves that we've gotten and the stories we're hearing about certain traders making generational wealth. It's very, very interesting to me. Like, okay, the markets, if the markets start getting this euphoric in a straight line up, which we've pretty much done, recovery from not only just COVID, but some other events as well along the way. Every kind of aggressive dip has been bought up. So again, interesting observation. We'll see where that kind of takes us right now here.
No, I was going to say, you're talking about making generational wealth. I was just trying to figure out, who here, as we ask Gemini, who are the most wealthiest individuals in the world. And you said that it's been interesting to see the stock market creating all of this wealth. Oh, no. Okay, hold on a second. I got to go back and show that because it scrolled to the top there for no reason. All right, so anyways, there's a graphic. I'm sure Adair has one. I could probably go find it right now. But anyways, everybody up there, it's Larry Ellison, stock market. It's Elon Musk, stock market. It's the LVMH Arnault there. Stock market, it's Zuckerberg stock market. Like the fact that the open market here, and most of those all Canadian, besides LVMH, so all American companies, creating an exorbitant amount of wealth and putting that back into the pockets of individuals who took risks, opened up businesses, and added to that list, if you go run through the top 50, it's probably most of them are self-made. And a lot of that is taking their companies public, right? So, yeah, obviously the stock market continues to, make people a lot of money. Okay, so we are getting ready for those imbalances to come through in just a couple seconds. So, all right. Oh yeah, no, I own it. What's up, love to trade, 100%. Money means nothing if you don't have family and health. And that, in my opinion, anyways. Like we saw Tim Cook, unfortunately. Not Tim Cook, Steve Jobs, unfortunately, passed away way too early for everything that he meant for the tech boom and everything like that. And yeah, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. That is, like Warren Buffett, just for example, would probably give back everything he owns to be 35 again or something and start that all over again. So thank you, Love to Trade, for bringing that up. That is 100% the truth. And
I think I find it interesting when people say that, because that is a very valid statement. But funny enough, you find that some of the people with the most money in the world are kind of very focused and driven in what they do. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you ask them, are you doing what you want to do? A lot of them, well, from the limited interviews I've seen from some of these billionaires, they definitely are where they want to be.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, it's a really, it's an interesting way how.
So, I mean, money also does have its negative, people make bad decisions.
There's a lot of connotations.
They have too much money as well, right? It's not necessarily, the be-all, end-all. Okay, so we do have right here some interesting imbalances. There's NVIDIA with 3 million shares to the buy side. Again, not reacting like anything sort of was there on Friday, but the momentum could pick up in NVIDIA. And again, 3 million shares into 133. It's not a huge float for NVIDIA there, 2.5 million. They can easily sort of absorb all of that. Intel's been on, hasn't been. I thought Intel was pushing 23. What the hell? This morning, when I looked at Intel, I was like, oh, $23, that's not so bad, huh? But now, yeah, rate to the downside right there, so that's not great. All right, so BMY with a nice buy, that might be okay. Ooh. Oh, Elliott Consortium or something. Trump's saying that apparently he does have something going on for TikTok, so TikTok bids coming through right now, so we'll see. But anyways, nice. We'll find it. If there's a story there, Daryl will get it. The only thing would be for the only company that I know that was public company that was talking about TikTok, I believe Oracle involved there. So, if you're going to look for any sort of a news story coming through, I don't really see that much happening on Oracle, so I'm going to say it's probably a nothing burger. All right, Wolfspeed. Is that Wolfspeed? Is that only a 40-cent stock right now? Yeah, Wolfspeed. Wow. Yeah. What
Remember
a
that
crush.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me guess. If I go look, and this is a stock that Chamath brought to market.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
He's coming out with more SPACs, so the swing short.
Yeah, is he coming out with more SPACs? Okay, Joe, I need to figure out what's going on with the put game. Okay, so right into there, man. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. Let's go over to Adara.
So I looked up the Chamath Wolfspeed thing. I haven't seen anything on that. But I do want to mention here, Blackstone and Oracle on watch. These are the two names, I guess, of the companies or individuals involved in the consortium to buy TikTok. I was just hearing a report in my ear, as Sean mentioned, that it basically seems like these wealthy people that Trump mentioned buying TikTok are going to be the exact same group of people previously floated around. So again, individuals involved with Oracle, BX, and another company. Back to you.
Over the weekend, I think that was.
Yeah, it's right now. He said he has a group of investors. So as Adara had just reported there, a group of his wealthiest friends, most likely, lining up, and that's fine. I mean, he wants to. I don't. You want to find a buyer for TikTok? Find buyers for TikTok. I mean, I think that'd be nice. Keep it in the United States.
People were asking Mr. Beast to
I don't know if Mr. Beast has.
No, to run it. They were like, we'll fund the
TikTok.
Like, we'll fund the purchase, and then you can kind of, investors were definitely hitting him up.
That smoke. I mean, I think it's a lot of money. The only reason I say that is because, like, TikTok, I was thinking TikTok is just that algorithm. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is they're looking for that. So I don't know exactly what running that would mean. I think it's just, I think it's the data, right? The data centers. Like, that's what Oracle's talking about. Like, the more people that are downloading the app, hitting these, uploading things, gives them more traffic, and yay for data centers, SMCI, Dell, things like that, server side, HPQ, HPE, and all of that. So, all right, so yeah, what was up with that Palantir dip? I just saw someone in the chat. Oh, by the way, man, get into the chat like ASAP. That was another thing. You can't be part of this unless you're part of this. Like, we have a vote on here. All right, do you trade based on headlines? 62%. We have over 1,000. I might turn this stream off. 1,000 votes, 700 likes. Whatever. You guys like if you don't want to like. But yeah, right there. Do you trade based on news headlines? I think whoever says no, the question's pretty vague, right? I mean, I think that we all somewhat trade on news headlines. It's more like that instant headline, right? Like that instant
You trade
reaction.
Momo, boom.
Yeah, right. So I did trade that off of Apple. I traded it twice. I traded it back to back. not only did I trade the news headline right here when I thought that some judge, they had lost, I don't even know the story anymore. So that was nice until it wasn't, and it broke higher. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, you know, they might be doing a deal with Anthropic or Perplexity or whatever. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to hear. So I just punched in immediately, just like bang, like I had no idea what I was doing. Punched in there and then liked it so much I punched in again and then got stopped out and then bought it back and then had this run up as we start to come out a little bit now. So I have 2% left of this trade. I'm just going to get out of Apple right now. There's no point. There it is. Apple trade ended right now. Oops, I didn't get out of it all. I will now. And there it is. We are now out of everything Apple related and happy to be that way. So there it is. It's my biggest trade of the day by far. Right there, we are going to be positive on the day, well positive on the day. Thank you, Obi. I love that for us here. Obi and I hope I've put on a good show. And let's go over to Adara for more news with only 4 minutes left.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Trade the Pool. We got another behind-the-scenes look at Trade the Pool, but this time we're diving into the community side of Trade the Pool. As you know, each trader gets his or her or their own hub, and inside one you'll find Trader Talk, a powerful Trade Talk, a powerful charting and analysis space where traders map out strategies, break down setups, and share predictions with the community. And if you're looking for real-time interactive, the Trade the Pool Discord is where you got to visit. It's full of active traders sharing insights, trades, and tips to grow together. At Trade the Pool, you're not trading alone, you're joining a firm that invests in your growth, technically, mentally, and financially. Head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code on screen. Back to you.
Yeah, I'm not huge green either today. I saw some people in the chat just posting up sort of what they were doing. So we make money back here on Apple. We get cleaned up ourselves. We lost. This is our only losing trade. Amazon, so that's 2 trades. Google we win on. Google we went long early, lost, but lost pretty small, then made back real good there on that Google short. Google, my number 2 P&L name on the day. Boom. That was huge, man. This was really a great trade there for me. Yeah, and then SoFi was great, so that's 3 for 4. And then the futures trade with what? Obviously, I'm just playing around. We saw this move here in the futures. So yeah, and that's a win. So unfortunately, we did get stopped out right there of our last little piece just as we came on air. And then, you know, the Apple news really shook the market a bit. So nice move there to the upside. And yeah, we'll have a 4 for 5 day today. So we'll take that and yeah, be slightly green and then just move forward with tomorrow's trade where it's going to be Obi and I again as Neil is camping. We hope that Neil has a dry camping experience because I know he's going to have a good time. Yeah. I just hope that it doesn't rain too much on him and his family. So shout out to them, and I hope Neil's doing well. You know, he'll be back next week for sure.
Yeah, I think. Well, I didn't see the weather forecast where they're going. I have no idea, but I think this week is not too bad. Here. So yeah, definitely the weather's been getting a little warmer, maybe a little humider as well. Got out of that Reddit as we're pushing back up through 50 halves. I kind of covered most of it right here on this little push below 150. I'm like, all right, if we don't go now, then like I'm not really going to hold pretty much a majority of the position into the close there, and then I left a little bit on again just for the reps. To kind of to see what those imbalances bring us. But oh boy, we were talking about this a little earlier. We were like, oh, can these futures get back to the highs? Oh boy, did they. And maybe we needed a little bit of Apple to kind of do that with us. So again, Apple bringing in some of that market strength here. But again, taking a look at some of the other constituents, like look at what just happened to Softy. Boom, just slam back down to the downside right here. And then Amazon didn't really catch a bit. I was like, I'm going to be watching some Amazon. Look at this dead cat bounce on the day, pretty much giving back about over 50% of that move there on off of the imbalances on Friday here. And then obviously Google as well. Google kind of closing near its close as well. That VWAP rejection was, or VWAP hold was pretty nice here. Again, you zoom in, a little bit of a head and shoulders happening there, kind of showing us who is in charge a name like goggles here. So again, with only about roughly 30 seconds left until the bell, I think again a lot of trades happened intraday. A lot of trades happened off of the open, but nothing too crazy coming into the close here as of right now. But interesting stuff nonetheless. And I think it's a great primer for the rest of the week.
Yeah,
I think so. I definitely think so.
Yeah, we're excited for that. With only 15 seconds left. Yeah, thanks, Obi. I think, yeah, we're set up now. Hopefully some news. I think Apple will be definitely on watch there tomorrow. With only 10 seconds left again. This bell sponsored by Orogenics. So we want to thank them for that. 3, 2, and 1. There you go. Thank you, Adara, for that one. As you see the DXY, the dollar down today as well. I just noticed that on the end of the stream. So
the dollar's been hit pretty bad.
Yeah, the dollar's been bad. Yeah.
Like stocks have been going up, but I'm like, you know what I mean? Dollar down.
I know exactly what you mean,
like,
man.
Oof.
I know exactly.
Little interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get into CAD hedged.
Yeah.
You asked me earlier today.
Currencies are a great hold, yeah.
Yeah, like, but a CAD hedged ETF. So you asked me today earlier, because I told you I bought the Nasdaq last Wednesday at all-time highs, because we had Michael Noss on today, and he was like, sometimes buying things at all-time highs, blah, blah, blah. We talked about all that kind of stuff, right? So, yeah, I'm in like a currency hedged, so net neutral Nasdaq on the TSX. So they just hedge out every day. So you might lose a little bit intraday on the move, but that's just because they're getting in and out of the currency, right? So if you have like a 1% move in the currency, they'll try to just trade that out against the price of the stock. We actually had a guy from CIBC on that's controlling a lot of those CDRs over there. So there's Nasdaq ones, Apple ones, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I see everyone wants to talk about XRP. XRP's on a nice little move back up to 230 right now for XRP. All right, Obi, good one. All right, we're gonna get, I don't know if it's ever been Joe and Adara before together once.
I think last week, I think.
Okay, so this is going to be time 2 right now. Thank you, Joe, for filling in here. I can't do Mondays, unfortunately, but Joe just, this guy's amazing. Took it no problem. So thank you, Joe, for the cover here today. Obi and I back tomorrow. So Thank you so much, Obi. Thank you to everybody for watching again today. Thanks to Dara, Joe, Sharif, Ramin, Fabian. Andre, who just got out of here, Brendo, who I haven't seen since 9:30. So what's up, Brendo? As well, I hope everyone's doing well, and especially to everybody who spent their time today watching us. So no matter what you did today, thank you for watching. Just make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. And we'll see you back there tomorrow. So same bat time, same bat channel. It is me and Obi, Obi and I tomorrow at 8:30 with the whole crew. So we will see you then. Until we chat, we'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao.
Guys.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with us today. We did do this previously, Joe and myself. We were on when Oracle reported most recently, so that was a thing. Also, yeah, I mean, really quickly before we get into everything, there was a super chat here that I want to say thank you for. Kelvin GTS, can we get Adara a coffee? Thank you for what you do for us. Thank you very much. I don't actually really drink much coffee, contrary to many popular opinions. I am just a medically tired person, so unfortunately sometimes I yawn, and thank you all for dealing with said yawns. But yeah, how are you doing today, Joe? How's it going?
I'm good. How was your day, Adara?
It was good. It was a day, and now it's done, and now we're ready here to talk with Michael Noss. We have one really small, kind of, I would say not, maybe inconsequential earnings report, but it has run in the past. It is QMCO, and it's already making a bit of a post-market move, though the report is not expected until 4:05 p.m. QMCO is called Quantum Corp. Unclear if they actually work in quantum, but we know without these quantum name moves, it does not matter. We're expecting a earnings of $1.34 per share loss. So we're expecting them to lose $1.34 per share. Revenue, we're expecting $65.7 million. So again, pretty minor. Now we're also getting these monthly totals here for the indices. So Nasdaq officially for the month gaining 6.57%, S&P 500 gaining 4.96%, Dow gaining 4.31%, Joe.
Yeah, you know what, Adara, this move that we're seeing as of late in the market has absolutely been phenomenal, especially off of those Liberation Day lows. And I'm just talking about the likes of some of these big-time names, and that's going to be Robinhood. You know, I've been talking about this name for quite some time, and for it to put in a 12%, 13%, sorry, I stand corrected, day is just absolutely substantial. We know that what we got going on with the Genius Act, it moved stocks in the likes of Circle, Coin, and now Robinhood. To put in a 13% day and continue the move that it has been on since the Liberation Day lows, we're talking about a 187% move here off of those lows, Adara. So just a big time move in some of these fintech names.
Yeah, I mean, people are mentioning here some of these larger mega cap names are moving. I'm not seeing any catalyst other than the White House announcing that Trump is signing a memorandum aimed at simplifying the funding of energy infrastructure and critical mineral and material projects. Unclear if this would really move either Tesla or NVIDIA, which are two of the names I'm seeing mentioned. But either way, just keep an eye out here for some of these mega cap names. I'm still looking here for catalysts. But yeah, in terms of Robinhood, I think this was a really key event I was covering during this during the midday. If you guys saw, I think some of the biggest, developments that they announced include the tokenization of stocks for European traders. So if you're trading in Europe now, you can also trade indices like VOO and SPY. You can also trade stuff like Tesla, NVIDIA. They named a whole bunch of examples, but right now only 200 tokenized stocks. By the end of the year, they're aiming for over 1,000. And I think Robinhood combined with Apple, we had a lot of parabolic movers today. Were you watching Apple?
Yeah, I was watching Apple. That move was absolutely phenomenal. But just to touch on your point of the tokenization of some of these equities here, Adair, that's going to lead to the 24-hour trading, making it substantially easier. So I think that's another positive catalyst that we can add on top of all of this here. But yeah, Apple has been on a big-time move throughout the session. We'll pull this up here on our chart. And I was talking about it during the midday as well, too. It doesn't take much for this to get going. Now that we know that they're in talks with OpenAI and Anthropic, this is going to be an absolutely massive catalyst for Apple. Is it going to be the one that sends it towards those all-time highs? I don't think so, but we're off to a great start. There's no questioning that.
See, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit, I will say, agnostic towards Apple with this regard. They keep being slow in AI. You guys have talked about it. Sharif calls it the dead one.
Yep.
I think that, of course, they can certainly get a move up, but I think that they seem, for whatever reason, to be unwilling to outsource their AI models. If they wanted to do so, they could have done that a while ago. So sure, we're hearing reports that they might get Anthropic or OpenAI involved, but this is something they could have done like years ago. Right now, I am a little bit skeptical. I also want to let you guys know, Quantum, QMCO, the earnings name I mentioned, they're not reporting. They actually delayed their fiscal 2025 10K filing due to an ongoing review of revenue accounting and standalone selling price applications. So keep an eye on QMCO to the downside, potentially delaying their fiscal 2025 10K filing. But yeah, I think that Apple, in general, pretty good catalyst. What other names are you looking at today, Joe?
Yeah, no, you know what? I was just focusing on that throughout the day. I was looking at Robinhood and some of the other names. I was seeing if we could get a continued pop through some key resistance zones on IBIT, but we didn't get that move in Bitcoin. But that's okay. I think at some point we will break through some of these levels here. If I bring it up, we can go to a 60-minute chart, and this downtrend is still fully intact here, guys. Until we have the ability to breach through this specific zone and sit on top of it, I don't think there's going to be any continuation in Bitcoin just yet, right? We're going to have to be patient. But I want to add something to what you were talking about earlier with Apple and them being a little bit lagging in the AI race. Now with seeing the likes of Mark Zuckerberg hiring some big-time names and the likes of now having a share in stake in Scale AI, do you think that Tim Cook is now like, a lot of these other hyperscalers are starting to allocate some of these names. Do you think they're going to play catch-up on that front and what we're seeing with OpenAI and Perplexity?
Yeah, truthfully, I think Apple has to get to the ground floor before they can get to the 10th or 20th floor. So I think one step at a time for Apple. But speaking of crypto, I know one individual who has been looking at some crypto names. We're going to talk to him about that. We're going to bring in, are we ready? Why not? We're going to bring in Michael Noss with us here. CMT, thank you so much for being here with us for this Trader Talk. I don't have the buttons, so here we are. How are you doing today, Michael? Thank you for being here with us.
I'm doing fantastic. Another good day to be a bull, and yeah, a lot of action. I've been listening to you guys. A lot of stuff going on, so it should make for an interesting day tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll certainly be exciting. Of course, a Canadian holiday, but certainly not an American holiday for the market. I want to talk to you about a couple different crypto plays that I know you had posted about on X. I'm going to start with Solana. You mentioned this breaking out of a downtrend channel. Is this something that you're looking at right now, and do you kind of want to share your thoughts on this further?
Yeah, for sure. So Solana right here at about $1.20 has been a pretty massive level, and this one's been lagging behind, but not nearly as bad as Ethereum that just kind of can't get off the mat at all. And every time it seems to bounce off this kind of 115 to 120, and I really like this kind of failed breakdown that we had here. To me, that could potentially suck in too many, sellers. It could suck in some shorts. That could be a problem. So when it put in this nice flag and that flag stopped right at 120 again, that got me interesting. So a little bit of a breakout here. For me, being just a pure degen, I kind of look at this as the meme coin version of the SPY. So, if you're looking at the SPY and that looks strong and you think that's going to break out, then you generally speaking aren't going to focus too much on the SPY. You're going to look for individual, more active, more volatile names that you can play off. And the same with Solana. If Solana moves, we know that's kind of the home of a lot of these meme coins. So what I'll do is I'll end up going down the list and searching for some of these meme coins that are established and look okay. Because if Solana is going to move, then these things are probably going to move with them.
And speaking of some of these kind of meme coin type plays, Michael, I do have a question for you as well. I know you'd posted about Fart Coin. Again, I have to say that cup and handle that you pointed out here on the daily chart it's certainly notable. It's pretty clear to see. Is this something, other than this breakout, what other targets might you have for Fart Coin? And are there any other kind of similar names you're looking at right now?
It always pains me to talk about this. I think that's why I think my tweet was like, you would just have to admit the chart looks good. Full disclosure, none of this makes any sense that this is a $1.16 billion coin. But it's part of what I'm looking for when I'm looking at these meme coins. I don't want the ones that have come all the way back down to retrace their lows, like Peanut the Squirrel. And again, this is just, it pains me to talk about all these, but have just completely kind of fallen apart. And yes, they might bounce and they might make for really good names. But when you look at something like this, it shows that it held up quite a bit. And full disclosure, I own an irresponsible amount of this, but the reason is because it didn't really participate in the sell-off. It didn't crash back down to 2 cents where it started from. It's been holding up pretty well. So that's the main thing I'm looking for. Now, when it comes to targets, if you do a measured move from basically the low of this base to the breakout, and you use a Fibonacci retracement, that, funny enough, sits around 420. So how fitting would it be if Farcoin breaks out here and goes all the way to 420? Again, none of this makes any sense to me. Don't invest in any of these things with any amount of money that you would be super sad if you lost. It doesn't make sense. But as a technician, I just got to look at the chart. And I got to say, that's a nice looking chart, nice looking cup and handle. The target's 420.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect target for this asset in particular. Now I'm going to actually send you over to Joe for a question.
Perfect. Hi, Michael. How's it going? Joseph here. I just have a question about the broader market. And I heard you say the other day the market was looking for a pullback that it never got to experience. Now, with the Nasdaq being up 30%, from those Liberation Day lows, and then the likes of NVDA being up 80% as well too. Do you think that this move is sustainable, or do you think we're almost reaching a point where we're overbought?
Short term, definitely overbought, but one piece of data that is interesting I'll bring to you guys here, and I talk about this all the time, it's the Commitment of Traders report. So to summarize broadly, if you are investing in the futures market, you have to disclose whether you're a commercial hedger or a large speculator. Commercial hedgers are generally people in the know. Think about if this was a wheat contract, a commercial hedger would be a farmer. They are probably going to know a little bit more about what the direction of wheat would be than maybe just some speculators, some guy on the street. So generally speaking, we want to fade the speculators. You can go back through the charts and look at this. They're often wrong, and they're still short. And they've been short this entire time. So they are, according to this data right here, 63% short. And they've been shorting, they're this blue line right here, the whole time as the market has moved higher. So as opposed to worrying about how high we are and how much we have moved, I'm looking more at these guys. And as long as they are short, as long as they are net short, then every major dip that happens in the market, I believe, has to be buyable because they have to buy it, right? The beauty of having them be short, and also the fact that we're at all-time highs, means that they're all wrong. We know they're all wrong. We know they're underwater. And regardless of whether you're a large institution or a small guy like us, if you are underwater this much, eventually the broker comes a knocking and comes to take your money. So in the short term, we're up like 6 days in a row. We have to give this back at some point, but I will be watching this prior breakout zone to see if that holds, and I'll be keeping a really close eye on that hot data that is updated weekly. As soon as they are no longer short, then maybe I think we could be in for a little bit more of a sustained pullback. But as long as they're short, I think we're going to keep squeezing them.
Beautiful stuff. And with that being said, one more question here, Michael. And just to add to your point, with the likes of Google, Apple, and Amazon slightly lagging, not necessarily hitting those all-time highs just yet, that could definitely drive some more momentum into this market too if they decide to play catch-up.
Absolutely. And I think it was Friday I came on and I showed all the stocks, well, a lot of the stocks that were hitting new all-time highs the day that the market was. And they were all like these weird, like Royal Caribbean, like RCL is hitting new all-time highs. And a lot of these banks, here's RCL hitting all-time highs. And then we had JP Morgan was one of the first names to hit an all-time high. And a lot of these names that we just don't expect to be the name that is moving. We expect the NVIDIAs and the Amazons and the Apples of the world to be leading us. But in this case, it's not. It's a lot of financials. If you go to XLF, that's breaking into new highs here. And if you go to XLI, which is your industrials, so think John Deere and Caterpillar and a lot of these names, they're also breaking into new highs. So if you're getting these breakouts in these names that aren't the traditional ones, then that shows that I think there's still room to go, because if, like to your point, if Apple participates and Amazon participates and all these big names, that's really going to juice the market, because these are large components of the market where, JP Morgan is something, but it's just not as significant as a lot of those big guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly interesting points there about these names that are making, I guess, new all-time highs and the context behind that. And I think also in terms of one name that hasn't made a new all-time high in a while, I want to ask you a question, because we just got a news story here about Boeing apparently announcing a new CFO as of August 15th. We know this chart's been beat up quite a bit, but it's recovered nicely. Do you have any thoughts or levels on BA right now, Michael?
No, this is, and I'll be always say it when I think it. This is a mess, right? And it's one of those. If you're a short-term trader, yes, maybe a break of these prior high could look interesting. But as you zoom out, and maybe even just use a line chart here to make it more obvious, you're just kind of stuck in this range. And the question I always want to ask myself, especially with markets hitting new all-time highs, weird names like Fartcoin looking so well, quantum computers and drone plays and robotics and space. It's like, do I want to tie my money up in something like this that is caught in a range? And then also, I think there's still a lot of news risk with Boeing. It seems constantly that they're doing something wrong. So that kind of worries me as well. So when I look at a chart like this, I just think we are in kind of prime hunting season where we've just made fresh new all-time highs and we can find stocks that are really strong, looking really good, potentially could break out. Do I want to tie up my limited capital in something that's in a range like this? I just really don't think so.
That's a really fair point, Michael. And I also want to ask you, we're done the first half of 2025. So with that in mind, are there any stocks that you're looking at right now, or any sectors that you're looking at, I guess, to start the second half of this year?
Yeah, I'm looking at the areas that are more speculative that haven't broken out yet. I've been very kind of vocal about psychedelics. I haven't been right on them yet. But I'm looking for names like this that aren't, nowhere near all-time highs. But PSIL, for those who are wondering, is a active traded, and that's important to note. So this isn't just a passive group of psychedelic stocks. It's an actively traded group of psychedelic stocks. And it has a major resistance point right here at about $15 a share. And holding up really well. There's some phase 3 trials that are coming out. I saw that one came out on one just a couple days ago. This kind of sector is interesting to me because my broad theory is, like we talked about, the large institutions are short or underinvested. So at the end of the quarter, they had to send letters to a whole bunch of their investors and say, the market's at new all-time highs, but I'm not. When you get that kind of environment in which there's so much of a catch-up trade to potentially be had, they have to go, you could call it dumpster diving or high beta fishing or whatever it is. They've got to go to some of these names that have the opportunity to potentially catch us up, but haven't quite moved yet. And they plow some money into that, because if they're right on these trades, they double or triple these lower float type names, then they can make up those returns that they've lost, puking out at the bottom and not getting back involved. So I'm looking for a lot of names. This is just one that I traded recently. It's just to show you guys the look. This is Owlet. I just know about the company because I bought a lot of they do baby heart monitor socks things for my kids. But this kind of name where was beaten up has gone nowhere for 2-3 years and is now breaking out. F-Tech being another one. These are, again, something that no one's ever heard of that makes, they clean up coal plants. But a lot of these, the point is these names that essentially have been beaten up and have gone nowhere for years, they've put in that nice low base and are now breaking above that low base. I think that might be the next play, because if I'm a hedge fund manager and I got to catch up, I'm going to start buying some of these names, the psychedelic names. So if your audience is looking, just find something that hasn't gone anywhere for years and then look at them to wake up. So Rivian's another good example, right? This thing has got killed from 160 down to 10 and then has gone nowhere for 2-3 years. I want to buy them as they're breaking out of that base, but I think it's worthwhile going through and doing your work now, setting your alerts so when these things break out, you're able to catch some of them. And if I'm right and they go after those high beta names, these could have kind of explosive gains.
Speaking of breakout, too, there is one name I want to ask you about as well, if you don't mind. Robinhood had their event today. This is, of course, obviously a little bit hard to get into where it is, but I guess what are your thoughts on this chart? And are there any other stocks kind of in this general sector, which you know has been really hot right now, this kind of, I guess, fintech space that you're potentially looking at or avoiding?
Yeah, I love Robinhood, full disclosure, and I'll always tell you when I'm in a bunch of Robinhood from around this 42 area. And the reason, just like we saw on the FART, that this is just a nice cup and handle. So the reason I think we should take a second, demystify kind of these cup and handles. They're not magic patterns, but what it means is, like I talked about with the Owlet and the F-Tech and the psychedelics, is you're looking for stocks that have just got absolutely hammered, but then go nowhere for a long period of time. And as they curl back up, they create these little bull flags that you can get involved with on the way back up. So I bought a little bit in this area and still holding that now. And the point is that instead of trying to buy them on the way down, you wait for them to find a point in which value investors think that they're a good value. And then as it itches up, then you can get a good price there. The other one that I'm in as well, but I think fits the same mold, is Coinbase. So if we just flip back and forth between these guys pretty quickly, you can actually see my Coinbase entry was right there. The idea is the same kind of cup and handle, but Robinhood actually performed much better than Coinbase did. So I think Coinbase actually has some room to go. If it breaks this kind of 350 area, we could see 4, maybe 500 on this name, and that wouldn't surprise me. Lastly, in the space, I think we got to remember Webull. Now, this chart is just wild. So yeah, I posted there's only 9 million shares in the float. So we kind of, I think, have to ignore all of this action, this IPO, and then it went to $80 and then crashed back down. It's pretty much sitting right at its IPO price. And although it hasn't existed long enough to put on a very long low base, it's been basing now for a couple months here where it hasn't gone up, hasn't gone down. So this one's on my short list too. If we can get above $12 on this one, I like it. Under 10.50, right? That's where you're going to go. But the idea is that $80 was probably way too much for it. $10 is probably too little. So you probably have a lot of investors loading up in this area. So if it can break this, if it get to 15 or 20, that's an amazing return. And it's in the same space. Webull's a pretty close Robinhood competitor.
Yeah, those are all really solid comparisons. Thank you for going over those. Is there anything else that you're looking at right now that either just gotten into or you're considering getting into that you want to tell our audience about?
Yeah, so there's the MindMed and the F-Tech and the Owlet and all that stuff. But from our systems, because I'm a systems trader at heart, we've actually had a couple names here triggered today, so we can go over some of those. And a lot of these are just looking for pullbacks in very strong overall names. So this MRC, for example, I don't know what these guys did, but they had a big gap up on Friday, and I'm trying to buy pullbacks in these gap ups for short periods of time. SERA is another one. I actually did a video on my channel about this one that had a pretty wicked day on Friday and is starting to pull back. The reason that I think these are good plays specifically right now is because we are in this momentum environment. So it wouldn't shock me that this stock that doubled on Friday and pulled back a little bit today can continue its gains, because people have this very risk hungry. So they're like, oh, this stock that was $4 yesterday is $3 today. I want to get involved in it. So anything that's made a recent surge, I'm looking to potentially bid at an AVWAP or a lower price somewhere inside that candle, because I do believe that as long as we're in this risk on environment, any pullbacks that we can get are pullbacks to be bought until the guys cover. And then once the big guys cover, then we'll have to reassess everything.
It makes a lot of sense. I think we have one more question for you from Joseph, Michael, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Last, final question here, Michael. And I seen you talking about the likes of Robinhood and Coin, and just not necessarily chasing these underlyings all the way up here. And I kind of want to make an options reference here. If you don't want to chase, I just want to know your thoughts for those traders who may not be aware as well too. What do you think about selling cash secured puts at specific strike prices where you own the underlying asset at the price that you want and not necessarily chasing some of these highs here?
I love that because you're right in a couple scenarios, right? I think so. Hack. Let's look at this. This is one that I own as well, but this is a cybersecurity ETF. I think I've talked about it before. And when we broke out of all-time highs, we can kind of compare this to how Coinbase and Robinhood and these all-time highs look. You can see it went nowhere for a month and a bit. So it would have been frustrated, if you were buying calls to try to get that leverage to the upside, but also if you just owned stock and you were just sitting on it for that period of time, just would have been no fun. So, what's being referenced is if you sell puts, then during this period of time where the stock's doing nothing, you're actually still getting paid. You're collecting some premium on it. I like that. Also, when we mentioned Boeing, there's the trade I did recently on just doing just that was just UNH. When we were just kind of completely falling out of bed there, I was doing about 250 or so puts. So for the audience, the idea is that if it goes under 250, I have to buy it at 250 less the premium I collected, right? If it goes and rallies from here to the moon, I only collect the premium that I've sold. If it does what it just did, right, where it bounced and then go nowhere for a period of time, it doesn't matter how high above 250 it goes, I still collect that overall premium. So this is something, I know we don't trade like Buffett here, but this is something that Buffett does all the time. If you like a stock at $10 as opposed to just putting out a bid at $10, which eats into your buying power, if you sell a put at $10, then if it gets there, you're going to buy it there anyway. And if it doesn't get there, you're going to make a little bit of money while you wait.
Yeah, perfect stuff. You're speaking my language there, Michael. Exactly what I was thinking. Great stuff as always. Michael Noss, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
So yeah, thank you so much for Michael Noss for being here today. And yeah, I think honestly, now that we had some awesome talk there, let's kind of round up some of these stories. And I do want to talk about what happened to our earnings report, which you were supposed to get from Quantum Corporation. They do not do Quantum, guys. They did not actually report earnings. Unfortunately, they did file a notification of a late filing on their Form 12B25 with respect to their annual report on Form 10K, basically delaying this report for the fiscal year and also for Q4. Now, this what does this remind you guys of? SMCI, anybody?
I was just about to say, Adair, we've seen this before, and it wasn't a good look for an extended period of time for Super Micro, that's for sure.
Yeah, let's hope for Quantum Corporation it's only this one quarter because SMCI just got. So it's not the vibe, to be sure, for Super Micro. People were mentioning as well in the chat some drops here, and I believe Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, just right after the close. I haven't seen any news on anything really post-market, so nothing super huge. But I mean, to kind of end things off, we've got a couple minutes left here, Joe. What are you going to be looking at or putting on your watch list for tomorrow morning?
You know what, Adair, I'm going to be looking for the continuation in strength with Apple here. I mentioned that this could be the spark that lights the fire, that where Apple starts to play catch up to the broader market here, and it's just the start. So if we continuously get that snowball effect where things are just accumulating for Apple, then I think we can continue to climb. So I'm going to have my eyes on Apple and also UNH. UNH is a different play. I know that's a fan favorite of yours there, Adair, and it's looking like I'm going to zoom out here to a daily, and I want to play this, and I'm glad that Michael Noss touched on it as well too. But if we decide to break through this key resistance zone right here, then I think that we can eventually head into this gap and look to fill parts of it there. So UNH and Apple are going to be on my watch list for tomorrow.
I mean, for me, I think Circle has been something that I've been looking at for a while. I've been pretty open about that. CRCL today was like super range bound. We got to like 194 top. Or not even 193 top, bottom here around 178. I think if we break out of this range, that could be interesting. But even if we don't, I mean, I think there's some levels within it. I think this 178 kind of lower highs, this point of triple bottom was of interest. So that's something I would be watching for sure. There's also our friend Flakes, Netflix, Netflix, as OB calls it. This thing's still at new all-time highs. It kind of sold off earlier yesterday or today in the morning. Then around 11:30 we popped. So this is a name that I have made the fatal error of not looking at every 2 seconds. It's something I want to be looking at a lot more closely. Tomorrow's session, MSCR2, I noticed this one. I kind of just pulled up. Unfortunately, didn't pull up during the day, but this is definitely a breakout on the daily. I like that we're back above 400s. If we do a little pullback to those high threes, that could potentially be a long from there. But yeah, I mean, I can't believe it. It is 4:30, Joe. Any last words for the people?
4:30. No, fantastic call out there on Netflix, Dara. We're up 62% off of those Liberation Day lows. The market has been on an absolute monster run, and just look for, as Michael Naw said, just look for the continuation in strength until otherwise, right? So if these big names start to play catch up, and I'm referring to Google, Apple, and Amazon, then we're going to continue to see new all-time highs in this overall market, Dara.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it, guys. We're going to do a quick little roll call before we let you guys go. We have put your names in the chat there, throw it up, and we're going to take our time to thank you guys all for being here every single day. We have FavSP, we've got Notorious Dingleberg, Cap Pow, Ostentatious Productions, Save Man Woman. Yeah, pretty light roll call today. Damian Tarza, Juan Padilla, Farm Trader 916. We've got the Roaring Griffin, Andrew. We've got Realist, KK. 14M, Sports and Stonks, RS, we've got Donkey Trader, we have Charlie Taft, we have Ryan O'Day, Rajesh, Trendline Tycoon, Market Stevens Johnson, shorts versus longs. I mean, isn't that the market, guys? Daryl Flinch and Blip Blorpus. Yeah, I mean, thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, why don't you see him off here?
Oh, that's it, guys. Dara leaving it up to me. I hope everyone had a fantastic trading day. Don't forget, we got bright and early, 8:30. Show starts again, guys.
See ya.
Good stuff.